Welcome to the 4205 cast. The Kings are coming at you live, but you'll hear us on tape delay. Today I have with me this guy and this guy.
Chris.
And Joe.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey.
And I'm Andre.
You are.
And what the hell are you doing? I just want to know, what are you doing?
What am I doing?
Was that?
What was
yeah,
what?
What was that?
What was this?
He's pointing.
And all that stuff you were doing before it.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Nobody saw that.
Do you have like Tourette's or whatever?
No. Just keeping my face in motion. Stretching the muscles out.
Practice.
Yeah.
It's like lemon face. Line face.
Sure. Why not? So I had to buy a new hydraulic cylinder for my chair, but I haven't installed it yet. So throughout the night, if you see me going like this,
That's why.
you'll know why.
Okay, good to know.
It's a good look.
Yeah, it is. So I'm gonna. Oh my god! Ah!
See, you did this.
Oh boy, I've made a huge mistake. Now I can't keep it up.
Yep.
There we go. Well, that'll have to do. I guess it's time to put that in.
Hell yeah.
It just arrived yesterday, so
All right.
whatever.
What's going on, guys?
Oh yeah, I'm
Life.
not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Not
And
a whole lot.
And a whole bunch at the same time, but nothing directly to me. So that's nice.
Not a whole lot at all. I did my taxes. Yeah, my taxes done.
Right in there.
Yeah.
Should get that done tomorrow, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that this week.
You have to.
You have to.
Left. You have to.
Like, what would be the excuse of getting your taxes in late this year?
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
COVID.
That's why they gave you an extra 4 months.
I know, but just you gotta try it anyway.
Or 3 months.
No.
What month is it?
July.
It's July. Yeah, 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
I don't know.
Number 7.
What are months?
What are months? Yeah, it's those things you lost track. It's those things you lost track of weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly.
What are weeks?
Those things that go by too quickly.
And
or perhaps not quickly enough.
It really depends, man. You know, I feel like time has zero meaning at the moment.
I mean, time has zero meaning in all moments.
It's true. But there's no structure. There's just no structure at all.
To time?
No, with my life.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. Like this rigid structure to time.
Claire is done with school.
Me
and
too.
I am not working at the moment. So, like, it is just a matter of, like, the days slowly blending together.
Unemployment benefits run out in New York City on the 31st.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a nice PSA for our New York listeners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Might have fallen onto unfortunate times.
Yeah.
They need to get on top of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
the section, the real life section of
right.
The podcast.
Yeah. There's a whole lot more I can talk about, but let's
yeah, let's talk about.
I'd say let's stay on topic, but God, when do we ever?
We do once in a while, on occasion.
Well, let's try. Let's go. Let's go ahead. Direct us.
Oh yeah, we have an email, don't we? That we've been putting off for a while.
Let's do it.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Let me actually pull this up before we get into things, because we've been teasing this email for a while.
Cool. While you do that, I think. Oh God, my eye looks really red.
I can't tell.
I can't. I guess okay. Well, hopefully that'll do it.
Because I have us on grid view, so I can't tell, and I'm only 13 inch screen, so that's probably why I can't tell.
I just make the videos very small so that I can have more of the screen lit up with my bright white Wikipedia pages. I don't actually have anything on them. They're literally just there to provide.
Just there because it's a white screen.
A lot of white.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
I'm using the new Facebook layout because it has a dark mode, and that's the only reason. That's the only reason I'm using. I hate it, but it has dark mode.
I don't know if mine is activated yet.
Well, whatever. It's Facebook. I'm gonna hate it anyway. But I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna hate it in the dark.
There you go.
I'm gonna hate it in the damn dark.
Isn't that like a song?
I don't know. It should be.
No, it's crawling in the dark.
I hate it in the dark.
I thought I was crawling in my skin.
No, crawling is that's just crawling.
Yeah, it's just crawling.
But there's that Hoobastank song.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, I mean, it's in the intro to Aggressive Inline, Dre. Come on. It's Crawling in the Dark.
I don't remember any of the music from Aggressive Inline.
You remember the intro, and that's the song in the intro.
Do you have that email yet?
Yes.
Okay,
so
good.
Aggressive Inline is a game, we are at least
Yeah.
talking about a game.
Yeah, we are talking about games. Kiss
Fine.
my ass.
For dry, clear eyes. Well, whatever. For dry, red eyes.
You're the one who's
clear
bitching
eyes.
about your
Wow.
weird red eye.
Look, okay? It's starting to itch, all right?
All right. Okay. We have an email
hmm
from Jagoros,
Oh boy,
the king of the rant.
here we go.
You might know him as Josh. He's been on the podcast a couple of times.
Yes.
And apparently he takes a little bit of an issue with us. So here we go.
I wonder.
I knew this was coming.
Okay. I'm in the middle of a 6-hour road trip,
This is how we
and
do
I
it. Tim.
straight up pulled over to say this.
Oh,
Castlevania Symphony of the Night, number 10? Are you effing kidding me? What the ever-loving effing F, guys? By the way, that's a censor added by me.
I don't know why I personally say like
genre.
choice.
It invented a genre, which it didn't. It didn't. I'm sorry. Sure, Super Metroid might have started it. Super Metroid.
I mean, just directly contradicting himself right away.
But it was not a genre until SOTN. And still not true because literally only Ega makes these games. Nobody else does. F Mega Man X in the A with Zero's goddamn saber. I didn't want Mega Man X to be that high, but like whatever. I thought it was.
3 of the 4 of us voted for it.
I think it's fair because that was the science of it. Is that the more people voted for it, the higher it gets on the list.
Right?
Mhm.
That's we admit it. It was science.
It was.
Y'all-
It's a complete scientific list.
Y'all trying to put its music ahead of Symphony?
No.
Not every track's a
No,
banger.
not really. Because that's the argument you're using for Mega Man X being so high on the list. It's not. I don't believe it was.
Let's finish the emails.
It's like comparing Mozart to Britney effing Spears.
Britney
I'm
Spears is a good
so
song.
glad. Toxic is great.
Toxic
I'm
is
so
the
glad
shit.
I didn't listen to this before 167 when I was a guest, or I would have lost my damn shit.
You didn't censor that. I mean, way to
How
stay
many
consistent.
boxes do you need checked? It's beautifully glitched. The voice acting is horribly amazing. The game has insane replay value. It has a dynamic map system, an insane item system. Most of these items have aspects that are still used in today's games. It incorporates RPG elements. It had a spell system, a sub-item system, an effing usable item system. It had Easter eggs, and hidden gameplay mechanics that we have never seen before. Hello, Peanuts? Jewel Sword? Duplicator? They had a secret entire other effing castle. Do you know how many people didn't even know that half of the game existed? Its depth is essentially unparalleled for its genre till this effing day. And you put it at 10? 10? 10?
Can we put it?
Okay, I'm
at, can,
here
we
now.
put, can we put it at 15?
No.
I think I want to put it at 15 now.
It's at 10. The list is done. We can't
Okay.
retcon it.
I'm not going back to that list.
No, I am gonna go ahead and declare that it's now at 15. Whatever is 15 is now 10, and that game is now 15.
I bet there's one of Joe's games that's 15. That's why he's saying that. That's one of his fucking 4D chess moves, so I ain't trusting that shit. Kiss my ass.
Okay.
Mr.
I'm
My
better
number
now.
one is number one.
I've already declared it. It's 15 now.
I
Right.
needed to let that out, or I was literally going to explode in my car. Carry on.
Literally, yeah.
Thank you for the email, Josh. You are figuratively going to explode in your car, not literally.
And Josh, it's okay. We forgive you for being wrong. It's fine.
I mean, we put it at 10. It's respectable.
Yeah.
How many
Top 20 games of all
think
time.
about how many video games there are.
Yeah.
All right. That one was 10.
I had other fights that I had to really dig in for. So I think I sort of betrayed it a little bit, but
I don't really think that anybody at the table thought that Symphony of the Night was not a good game.
no.
So clearly, it is a legendary game.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, it's still not the best Castlevania style in that genre from that developer. I believe that's Order of Ecclesia, but
I think it's
regardless,
Aria,
all of these are great games, but they all can't make the list. And the fact that it's on the list means more because outside of a couple of really random things, like I think Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, is extremely random.
That's the nutball one, and of all the ones on the list, that's the one I'm like, what the fuck are we thinking?
But hey, that's not a bad game either.
No, I love that game.
It's
honestly.
a really good game.
I was a huge fan of that game when I played it.
I mean, I think actually, in retrospect, one of the mistakes we made, or maybe I made, because I pushed for it, was like attributing influence to positions on the list. And that's why the Prince of Persia is there. But, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, very respectable 15th place.
10th place.
15th. I have spoken.
Joe, you don't matter.
I don't. It don't matter.
Yeah,
all this email is telling
none of
me,
us matters.
All this email was telling me that if Josh was on that podcast when we made that list, it would have even further complicated things.
Oh yeah,
it would have been another episode.
Yeah,
nobody would have talked to each other for
we
4 weeks.
We would have scrapped it and just like played all the sounds together. It's like a mishmash of.
Like layer
it could be like one of those YouTube videos where they play a sound and then they play 2 of that sound and then they play 4 of that sound until it becomes what's the word we like to use?
Cacophonous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we could have just scrapped the episode and just play a sound clip of British Parliament, and I think it would have had the same result.
More than likely.
Yeah. Thanks for the email, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
thanks for listening, as always.
Yep.
It's a shame 10th. I'm sorry.
It's a shame your game made 15th place, but that's how it goes sometimes.
It's 10th. Not 15th. It's 10th.
Joe, stop spreading misinformation. We're not about that on this podcast. That's just 6. So you're just
right. It's even better than 10th now.
Even better than 10th now. Congratulations.
Joe just made it 6th place.
That's right.
So there you go. You got your wish. Right, let's talk about the games we're playing, guys.
Okay.
Joe.
Okay. Yeah. I'm still really heavy into Divinity 2. Mm-hmm. Divinity Original Sin 2.
I saw a lot of achievements on your page.
Yep.
Like 69% achievements.
69%. Nice. Maybe I shouldn't have disabled them because I did a second playthrough and I enabled the some of the built-in
consoles.
Well, I enabled some of there are mods built into the game that you can enable, but like they disable achievements and they're like quality of life stuff that was really nice for a second playthrough and I really wanted to play around with. So when I last talked about that game, I was at the second to last area about to go into the final map. And as I realized what that game was like, that game spikes in difficulty at each map, which is why I was having so much trouble in one map to the next and to the next. Like, I got to a really comfortable place, and then I went to the next map, and, like, everything was like, oh, okay, we're back to just killing my entire party. Okay. Wow. Like, just when I thought I had a handle on things, all of a sudden, like, I'm just getting demolished again. I have entire teams of things going against me before I even take a round. You know, I have to preemptively move things into position so I don't die. There's certain encounters I can't even force to start. I have to just walk into it. It was kind of jarring. Like the difficulty curve it's a sine wave. It's just like a staircase. It's not a curve.
Sine wave isn't a staircase though.
I meant square wave. Excuse me.
There you go.
Sine wave is like, square wave is like, But like, it flattens out, then it jumps up, then it flattens out, and it drops down, and it flattens down, and it jumps up again. That's a square wave. But like after you get up that plateau, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. And I realized like level ups in that game like really mean a lot. Like I can't really quantify even how these level ups were helping me get by. I just went into new encounters that I went into encounters that I was having trouble with after leveling up, and I was having a much easier time. I don't know if I was just taking more damage because I was a lower level. That might have been a thing. But once I got on par with these things that were kicking my ass, suddenly it was a much more fair fight. The only problem is, if everything is unfair when you're a low level, how do you progress? So you really need to pick and choose where to go and just try to maximize the experience you're getting. And they pour a lot of experience. They give you a lot of experience. There are like a lot of ways to get it. So because of that, I was a little hesitant to go through the game again. I was a little hesitant to do a second playthrough in that mode, but I couldn't if I wanted to play it again because the other way would have been too easy. Now, Theo and I were playing multiplayer together, and we decided to just do a 2-character playthrough and just have 2 super powerful characters going through the game, just so we can do it. It was fun. We were really rolling through it, but like having all these points to put in your abilities and super high stats was, makes you feel really powerful, but sometimes you're just really outnumbered, especially when there's just 2 characters. And we had a lot of fun with some of the fights in that, especially like with a lot of enemies. There's actually mods to add more enemies to things, and I think I want to do that. But if I get 69% achievements, maybe I just want to go through it without those mods turned on.
Or you can find a mod that disables the disabling of achievements, like I had in City Skylines.
Seems like that would go against some TOS, but whatever. Who would give a shit, right? Who cares?
TOS, who cares? Exactly.
Whatever. I don't remember signing anything.
I know, Narc. Don't worry. I guess I should.
I haven't.
Secret safe with us, Joseph.
Yeah, I haven't agreed to anything. So I'm going through it a second time. My second playthrough was kind of a mess. Because I still wanted to experiment with stuff. But this time it just didn't work out. Like I was experimenting with stuff that was just really just not gelling together. Like I made one of my mages into a hydro, like a water fire build, which was just like one thing does one thing, another thing does the other. They're doing opposite things from what I want the other one to do. It's just I wanted, more abilities to use each turn, but it just wasn't clicking. And I did one of my other guys, like I tried I didn't use the summoning skill all that much in my first playthrough, so I wanted like a solid summoner style character.
Yeah. And
some of these mods had like more options for the summoner class, like there was enhanced summoning stuff. So I'm like, all right, let me try this out. And my summoner build was terrible. The only thing is I got a lot of summoner stuff. I got a lot of gear with plus summon on it. So my summons were doing amazing damage. And that kind of got me through it. Otherwise, the build was really bad. Like I was just putting points into things just to have them. Things were, my equipment was not really working out. So the things just kept getting worse. I found a really high level weapon, and I didn't know that equipping a high level weapon reduced your accuracy.
Oh yeah.
So like my two-handed warrior was just like missing all the time. So it was such a mess. The only one actually doing damage was my backstabbing rogue. They did a lot of damage, but it's only one at a time. It actually kind of made for a little fun playthrough because I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing now. How do I get out of this situation? How do I make this garbage work? And that in itself was kind of fun. But I honestly kind of wanted to start over.
Yeah.
But fortunately, they let you shift stuff around enough so that you can just completely redo everything. The only problem is I didn't have enough money to really just completely redo everything. So I had to like tweak it a little bit as I got into more encounters, spend my money, get the new abilities, go do a new encounter, edge by, get more loot, tweak it a little bit more until I finally got it where I liked it. And now I'm at a very satisfactory place.
Mm-hmm.
Though everything is clicking, things feel good. Learning new things about the game. Like I didn't know the value of staffs in that game. Like staffs are two-handed magic weapons, but I'm like, why wouldn't I just use a wand and a shield or two wands?
Yeah.
Then I found out that staffs let you use melee abilities that do magic damage instead of physical damage. I'm like, oh, that's how they make that work. So I played around with that a little bit. Now I have another idea for what I want to do for another playthrough if I want to go through it again. So I'm still learning things about it, and I'm still having fun with it.
That's promising.
Yeah,
sounds like it sounds like you made your own difficulty, and as a result, had to learn everything about the game as a result.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. This is why I like to play on the hard mode. I really wish that there was like an in between difficulty here.
Yeah,
because that would have been fine for a first playthrough. I don't think either difficulty is really good for a first playthrough. If this game had the base difficulty only available to you, I don't think I would have enjoyed my first playthrough.
Okay.
And then going to the harder difficulty would have been a real like I would have hit a wall. Because I wouldn't be forced to up my game. I would be able to just walk through on some shitty build and just never even think about it. I wouldn't have learned the game.
Yeah. It's important
it's
important for games to like walk that fine line.
Especially with the complexity like that doesn't really have a lot of tutorials. Like they have pop-up tutorials, but like, whatever, I got it. They never told me that staffs do magic damage with melee abilities. They never taught me that, I could, have certain talents like don't interact well with each other, or certain abilities don't interact well with each other. Like they didn't teach you that. You have to learn that. And if I could just walk through the game on any build, I probably wouldn't have learned it at all.
Right.
So I'm glad I started where I started, even if it was a lot more taxing than it was in the first one. So I'm looking.
Funny.
Yeah, it was
because you had all that experience in the first one, and this one was more taxing.
This one was more taxing because I was fucking around. I went to try more stuff, and that stuff didn't work, so I had to tweak it.
Well, sounds like it was for the best, clearly.
Yeah.
Now, if it's inspiring you to play through another run, that's.
I mean, I'm probably gonna keep playing this for a while longer.
Yeah.
I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. I like it too much.
That's good.
I would like to play more multiplayer with Theo, but his life seems a little hectic. Right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't pin him down for anything.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Yeah. Play good games.
Play good games, make good money.
Mm-hmm.
In that order. I'm not making good money.
I would try to make good money and then use that good money to play more games.
Look, yeah, the making good money is the means to an end.
Yes.
Yeah.
As you have always said.
Yes. Indeed they do.
So just Affinity, Joe? That's all you've really been playing?
Well, I actually after Andre was talking about Baba Is You, I picked that up.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw, and then I was like looking for a hint on how to finish a puzzle, and then this guy just freaking posts the solution.
Well, like, I didn't get to that puzzle until like several days later, and like, oh, I recognize this. I only bought it because I was taking a day trip to Staten Island, and I figured it'd be nice to like play it on the way, or maybe have some fun with the family. Like I plugged in the Switch, maybe they'd like have fun interacting with it. Because I remember what we did, like after we finished our previous episode, we watched you play a little bit.
That was great.
We were having fun with that. So I'm like, maybe I can do this with my family. So I got it. And I like logic, and I like logic puzzles. And I didn't like it at first because I didn't really like how the moving parts worked. I thought that it really kind of mucked with the logistics and how the logic puzzles really functioned, and that's intentional.
Yeah.
But I didn't care for it at first. kind of clicked. Every level adds a little bit more complexity or new, I guess, not verbiage, like nouns and adjectives. Syntax maybe is the word I'm looking for.
Words.
Yeah, words.
Add more words.
Yeah. Learning the moving parts and the syntax and what interacts with others it was a little overwhelming to figure out all at once. So it took a little while for me to acclimate to it.
Yeah, that game can be a little overwhelming at times.
I play for short bursts and then I put it down and I go back to it.
It's not something. Did you encounter the word empty yet?
Yes, I got to empty. I'm like, I got there. I finished one empty puzzle, and then I got to the next one. I'm like, I don't think I'm awake or alert enough for my brain to wrap around empty right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished one empty puzzle, and now that was that.
That one is that was a word.
Yeah. Like, I can't wrap my head around this right now. I'll get back to it later. And that's how I play that game. I do one or two puzzles or stay at a puzzle for a little bit and then I put it down. It's a game you can pick up for a few minutes, play, and then put it down.
It's perfect for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I got it on my Switch and not my PC.
No, I think that was the right move. Because that way you can just kind of lay in bed.
Well, that and I can play it on a ride to Staten Island.
Yeah, exactly.
Or New Jersey or,
A ride to New Jersey that gets wrapped around and goes in the wrong direction.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh, boy. Oh, Jack.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I showed it to my mom. I thought she'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
She did, but I don't think she'd really play it. I mean, she's she's a retired teacher, but she'd like to stay busy all the time. And then these last few months have just been hasn't really catered to her lifestyle. So she's like looking for new things to pass the time. Mm-hmm. She and I are probably have the best relationship we've ever had in our history. Maybe since I was a small child. Yeah. I don't feel like I've really bonded with my mother the way I do now before. So, we're just clicking on a lot of different things. She suddenly started wanting to learn how to play mahjong, unsolicited, by the way.
That is
completely unsolicited.
That is That is some shit.
Yeah, I catch her looking for video games and playing video games on her phone, and I'm just like, come to me. I got stuff.
I know all the things.
Yeah. I'm thinking about moving my Switch, out of my den, just so she can have access to it. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
she might never see that shit again at some point.
So I figured Baba Is You would be a good game to, let her play around with.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean she's never really played video games before. So
I have some random news for you.
Oh yeah.
That will make you happy. I'm guessing here. I'm seeing hidden achievement, and making Rocky Road on Theo's account for Crosscode. So it looks like he's been playing.
Someone's played it.
Making Rocky Road is deal a total of 1 million damage. So I don't know how fast you could deal 1 million damage in that game, but
a total of 1 million damage.
Yeah, but the achievement says, deal a total of 1 million damage. It's time to stop.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, okay?
Time to stop.
Where are your parents?
That's a good question.
Do I have the Rocky Road achievement?
I would assume so.
I would guess you do.
I mean, I did play that and I was doing a lot of damage. I don't know. I don't see it here.
Wow, what?
I don't see it on my list.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe I don't know. I'll see if I can find it. I'm not wearing my glasses.
That could be a problem.
But I remember I was playing around with different builds and what the heck? Where are these achievements here? I'm looking at these are achievements for Crosscode. Maybe they're in the update. that I haven't installed yet. Like I really want to play that again, but honestly, I'm afraid to.
Why? That's the most insane thing I've ever heard.
No, you'll understand once I tell you, because I'm worried it won't be as good on the second playthrough, and my experience will be tainted by it.
You can't go back into the past and change your experience with it. Like that
doesn't make any sense.
I'm worried. Yeah, but you know.
No, I love you, brother, but that's insanity.
You remember? Do you ever see Inside Out?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's like that. You know, where the happy memory has a touch of sad on it. That's how I'm worried it'll happen.
But that's with introspection as you're getting older.
Right.
You played this game a year ago. What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know. Making Rocky Road unlocked November 27th, 2018. Got it.
There you go.
Very easy.
Yeah.
Right? That's like me going back at age 30 and saying, wow, Silverhawks is trash. How did I like that as a kid?
Yeah, you know what? Because I've had that experience before. That happened to me. It happened to me already. It's happened before.
With what?
So that with like Transformers, He-Man.
But you see, the difference is
Ninja
that when you're a kid,
Turtles.
you don't know what's good.
Yeah.
Everything is good.
Now
But you're like already a jaded adult.
Yes.
And you liked it, which means you'll probably like it if you played it again.
That's what I'm worried. I don't want to be jaded about this.
I am confident you will like it again.
All right,
I am super confident in that.
There's plenty of new content to play, and I was kind of waiting on that too. And I really want you guys to play it and tell me how you liked it, or if you did.
Look, it's going on the pile.
I'm almost positive you will not like it as much as I did.
I probably won't, but it won't mean I will dislike it either.
Good. Okay.
So,
I rambled a lot, so let's go to Chris, I guess.
Okay, Chris, go ahead. You can ramble now.
So, I've been living in Hyrule.
What's
That's a place to live.
It's a pretty good
I don't
place
know. Not in the game I think he's been playing.
Well, Joe, you're the only one who thinks that. You and like JonTron.
Well, look, I'm not talking about
He's
the game.
Not the only one.
I'm talking
about
the world of the game.
Yeah,
I don't think you want to live in the world of the game the way the world is in that game.
Oh, absolutely not. It's
that's
a post-apocalyptic Hyrule.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about.
So since there's so little to do at the moment, and the weather has been incredibly shit this last week. On top of that,
are you kidding me? Just Thursday and Friday, just yesterday and today. The weather's been great otherwise.
Well, I don't have a pool to go jump in when it's boiling hot.
It's very comfortable and breezy 85 degrees.
No, not so much. There's been like chance of thunderstorms every day.
The weather's been great, except for yesterday.
And the day before that.
No, the day before that was beautiful.
And today. Anyways, my point is, the weather has been iffy. There's been threatening thunderstorms, necessarily, right? So I haven't really gone out much. I've been really enjoying the weather. So I've been playing video games like a maniac, and I figured since I beat Super Mario Odyssey, as complete as I'm going to be satisfied with, I said, I got another 100-hour game laying around that I need to go back to. So I am back playing Breath of the Wild right now. I have fallen in love with this game all over again. It is better than I remember it, actually. I also remembered what the hell I was doing, which was nice.
Thanks, Hero's Journey.
Yeah. Also, but that game is very good about that, even if you were doing something specific at that point. And I think my fear of going back to it in the first place, I was worried that I was in the middle of a bunch of things that were important. But the game's very good about like just you being able to drop whatever the fuck is going on to concentrate on something new. But I had decided any frustrations I had with the game I knew would be mostly mitigated once I got the Master Sword. So I made that my focus because I had already beaten one beast. I was about 35 hours in, and I only needed about 8 more shrines to get enough heart containers to get the Master Sword. So I did that, and I got the Master Sword. And once I got that Master Sword, boy, I have really kind of cracked out on that game. Because another thing that I was having problems finding like the Korok guy and then spanning my inventory. So
are you trying to get all those damn seeds?
No, that's crazy. No. I do not have the patience to find 900 Korok seeds. No, thank you.
900?
You really only need to find 400 something of them.
Still.
Yeah, but even then, I don't. even know if I care enough to do 400. I might. I don't know. I have less than 100 right now. But I'm really healthy on my shrine count. I've beaten all 4 beasts. I really enjoyed those puzzles. Like I think my initial problem was they weren't explicitly clear about you having to use the mechanics of the beast at first. So I remember running around the first beast, like in the Zora village that I fought, and I was just kind of like, what the fuck is going on? Like I ran around that fucking inside that divine beast for God knows how long. The fight beforehand was amazing, and the beast fights themselves are a fucking blast. And the Ganon fights inside are great too. But once you have the Master Sword, that shit's real trivial. It's just because you're doing the Master Sword does double damage against Ganon infected things and Guardians. Yeah, that's fun. Guardians are easy now, so that's cool.
Yeah, all you gotta do is learn how to parry, and then it's very easy.
Yeah.
Take them down with like a wooden shield.
Oh yeah. But I don't know. It's very satisfying chopping their.
But then the wooden
off.
shield breaks real easy, so.
Yeah.
Nothing breaks if you parry.
Yeah, that's true. Parrying is a very important mechanic, which I haven't totally mastered. But I'm fighting Lionels on the regular now. I'm kicking the shit out of them, and like, so I have all 4 beasts cleared. I got about 80 change shrines done, approaching 90. I haven't done much of the DLC, but yeah, man, it is the perfect game to be playing right now for me.
That's what I figured. I figured that again. I wanted to revisit it.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep looking at people playing it, and everything. My experience with that game was just everything I did in that game was over before it got interesting. Like right as it was about to get interesting, it stopped. It stopped.
Like what exactly?
Like I finished a puzzle, and the puzzle was over as soon as I figured out the one trick to it, and then that was done.
Right.
I would.
Are you talking about shrines or Koroxy?
Shrines, whatever. Like probably more really shrines because I didn't get very far into it. Now I would pick a direction and go. I would climb a hill, climb a mountain, go to some obscure looking place, get there, and then there was nothing. So the interesting part was trying to get there, and I wasn't rewarded for it.
See, I found
it unrewarding.
That's the thing. I'm having the opposite experience. Where I find a thing.
I'm curious as to what kind of satisfaction you get out of doing this thing.
Well,
what am I missing?
All right, so I found setting that I knew that Master Sword goal was big for me, right? Because I wanted to have a consistent weapon. That way I wasn't so worried about my inventory space anymore. Because while the Master Sword does go away, it's nice to know that you'll always kind of have a really good weapon. Or not like, it's not the greatest weapon, but it's really good.
It's decent enough.
It's good enough.
It's a consistent weapon.
Yes, it's one of the few consistent things that you get in the game, right? And once I had it, I felt at ease, and it helped scare away my mind goblins of hoarding like a psycho, right? I also, once I had the Master Sword, I felt more inclined to explore and didn't feel as bad getting into combat. And also, and this was also in tandem with getting more inventory space because the Korok inventory guy is in Lost Woods. He's at the Deku Tree, where you get the Master Sword. Okay. So, like, once you get the Master Sword, the game kind of opens up a lot in a much better way. I felt right and then this year wasn't completely turned off, but was having frustrations with.
Yeah.
Right? And a big part when you're saying that, like, you went to a place and you didn't find anything, I haven't really had that. I've very much had the experience of I go to this place, right? And this game has a very interesting way of when you talk to people and they give you certain hints about certain things, like when they give you like a shrine quest or whatever, right? And I think initially I wasn't fond how this game didn't have dungeons, but the entire world itself is essentially a structured dungeon.
Yeah, that's appealing. I found that appealing about the game.
But like when I would go someplace, like I was like, climbing this mountain and trying to solve this puzzle, and as I was solving this puzzle and I managed to unlock the shrine, I felt that satisfaction. It was, oh shit, cool, I got the shrine done. Got more spirit orbs, more power for me to fucking do my thing. I got a full stamina wheel now too, which is nice. And like, yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not saying all this to criticize Joe because that's not what I'm doing. But like, I found, when you're saying like I didn't find anything for me, it's like there's so much stuff in this game.
Yeah, but what
I
does it do?
appreciate.
What does it actually get you? I feel like with the non-permanence of all the stuff in that game, they really should be giving you more stuff to find.
See,
Like,
I think
it would it would really incentivize you to use a lot of the stuff you find if you kept finding good shit.
But you
What does that stamina wheel get you? What are these?
It gives you the opportunity to find more things and to carry on.
But there's nothing to find. There's nothing
you keep saying that.
for.
You keep saying that, and I disagree entirely with the statement. Like, we're at an impasse here, and I'm not going to convince you.
Yes, but I really wanted to. I don't know. What I found very dissatisfying.
Yeah, I think just the core of the game. Also, I did notice that, like, as far as strength-wise, upgrading your clothing is super fucking important.
Yeah, and it would have been nice to, like,
holy shit. Yeah. That's important. So finding rupees are valuable, man. Rupees have never been more valuable or important than they are in this game.
So you can buy clothing.
Not just clothing.
But you also have to pay for upgrades.
Because you have to. So the way it works is you get the 4 fairies, right? There's 4 great fairies all over the map, okay? Every time you pay a fairy, I think the first one's like 100 rupees. The second one's 500 rupees. The third one is 1,000. And the last one is 10,000, right? So when you unlock all 4 of these fairies, you get full upgrades to clothing. And once you see that there's an item list that you need to upgrade those things, it gives you incentives like, holy shit, I want to upgrade this armor. It's really good, especially the champion tunic. Jesus Christ, the champion tunic's good. Like, it incentivizes you to go seek out the things that you need to go kill. Like, it sends you on hunts, and your reward is better gear. So, like, it's a consistent power creep that you get better the more you play.
Well, it certainly didn't hook me fast enough. I'll tell you that.
I think
it was.
Like
at least a week's worth of play out of it.
Did you get the Master Sword?
No, I never got that far. I was bored before I even really took off.
Yeah, that's a thing. I really like. For me, getting the Master Sword was big. That was a big part of me getting full back in, like, because like I said, I had some kind of consistency again.
Yeah, I was not interested in getting to the point where that would have been possible. Because I had been to a lot of different places and was not satisfied with any of them. Yeah. So I just stopped. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not having fun.
Yeah. So I was having fun doing that. I've gotten a bunch of the side quests with like I built my house and I helped the other guy build his village. With the Bolson crew and all that.
You should build your own village and invite that guy to your village.
Well, I mean, you can buy your own house. You can buy your own house, and you can store weapons there, right? Which is cool.
You can have a shopkeeper who can think of all type of weapon.
Although I have to say, like,
named after an AK-47.
So I was just, honestly, I'm super enthralled with the game. I want to at least complete the shrines before I go kill Ganon, and I have one more memory to get for the story purposes, and. I have bought the DLC. I tried Trial of the Sword. That is no joke.
It's pretty hard.
Holy shit. That is insane. And like I said, I'm killing fucking Lionels on the regular right now. It's real nice. It's a real satisfying thing to see one of those fuckers and be like, yeah, what's up? Just run straight at him now. I'm like, oh, good. I need some of your hoofs. Got to upgrade my shit.
How far along do you think that sequel is? Because we should be getting that sometime, right?
That is we're probably gonna get some kind of announcement for that in the Nintendo Direct, I would imagine. At least give some info.
We've been juked before.
Let's put it this way. I'll be honest, real talk. If the sequel came out tomorrow, I would make sure I beat Breath of the Wild, and then I would immediately play it because that's how much I love Breath of the Wild.
It's not.
But... Oh, I know it's not, and I don't expect it to be like, oh, surprise, it's out. You know. So just a lot of Zelda, tons of Zelda. 95. I got I'm almost 100 hours in, and like it all happened real fast.
No, it all happened in 100 hours.
Well, I mean, it just felt like it flew by.
The passage of time is constant.
That is a fact. But yeah, so I do not resent where Zelda's place is on that list. Let me tell you.
I'd like to be optimistic for the sequel.
There is some things I'm hoping for in the sequel, and one of the things is maybe to mitigate some of those qualms with, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, I think that if you have the ability to craft more than just the hero weaponry, I think that would be a good thing. I think
you need to be really careful with crafting systems in games because they always become a pretty tedious grind.
They already are, but like that's what the good part of this game is anyway.
Yeah,
when you're upgrading your gear.
You need to be really careful with it.
Well, I think it's a matter of I think it's good. I think it would be good for this game because the way I look at it, everybody has a particular combat style they probably prefer.
Mm-hmm.
Like while certain weaponry is good for fighting certain enemies, everybody's got their favorites, right? And maybe it limits you, and maybe that was part of the original design philosophy of the game was that like we want you to use everything. We don't want you to use this particular one as a crutch. Like I'm a one-handed sword guy in this game. That's pretty much my go-to. Just prefer the way the combat flows, and it's Zelda. It kind of feels right playing with the one-handed sword combat.
Right.
You know.
Yes.
But I'm not against the two-handing weapons are great. The pole arms are amazing. They're
historically pole arms are usually very good.
Yeah, it's a reason why they have less damage though, because they would be unfair if they weren't the ones that are always statted to have do the least amount of damage.
Pole arms and spears are probably the most efficient weapons in human history.
Oh yeah, spears are crazy good. Before guns. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Electricity enchanted weapons are also on their own tier. So
they're incredible. Like I hoard so much electric shit. Although ice isn't
expect
exactly
them to be anywhere near as good as they were in the Don't expect them to be as good in the next game as they are in this game.
Oh no, they're too good. The fact they disarm is insanity.
How do you follow this then? Like, what do you do to make a sequel to this game?
You know,
because I'm certainly in the minority. So I think we're just getting more of the same.
I see. I don't know if we will, because Nintendo doesn't like to do that. That's not what they do.
You know what? You're right.
That's a good
point. That's a good point.
They followed up Ocarina of Time with
Majora's
the most mind-bending Zelda game that they've ever created.
Yeah.
Outside of this one, it's
so
just
we should be expecting
as
something
ambitious
like
as anything can be.
We should be expecting something on the level of Majora's Mask. Not like we're gonna get Breath of the Wild Majora's Mask, where the moon is literally crashing into, but like we should be looking forward to something with a really zany premise.
Yeah, they're gonna do something because I'm pretty sure there was probably a series of mechanics that they were like fucking around with during the production of this game. And we're like, I don't know if we can fit this in. But maybe, and because that's what Nintendo does. Like, see, like a good example of what makes this game feel so fun to play is its chemistry system. Like the way things interact with the environment and one another makes you like you feel like the way you can approach things and like the way you can solve puzzles, you can do shit in a different way, you know? And like that freedom to this game makes it really good. And I think that will be present in the next game. It'll be probably slightly changed, but I think a lot of the systems will be there. But I'm curious to see what they do with those systems. Like if they get how crazy can they get? Because I feel like they're just scratching the surface with stuff in this game in a weird way, you know? So I'm incredibly excited to see what they do, and I'm hoping whichever oddball thing they decide to revolve the game around is awesome.
I just like to be rewarded for where I'm going. That's all I want.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
So maybe you just picked a bad direction to go in.
You might have. Man.
How many bad directions did I pick?
There's a lot of directions to go in this game.
Yeah.
Well, also, it doesn't hurt that when you have a big, gigantic, wide open game that you at least follow some level of objectives.
You know, I did start to do that after I was extremely dissatisfied with just going. Yeah, just going. I'm like, let me just go to where the game is telling me to go.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't having a good time. So,
yeah.
Whatever. I mean, every time the game comes up, I have to get on my soapbox about it. So whatever.
Or we know it.
Yeah.
We know. Everyone knows. Who listens, who knows.
I mean, what else? I can't really say anything else about it.
You don't have to. It's okay. There's not much else to talk about it, man. You know?
I'm just really confounded by what I missed about that game that everybody else seems to like. And
you don't like the core combat. You don't like the exploration. You don't like the fact, like, there's, and these are the core fundamentals of the game.
Thing about it is, I kind of like the combat.
Combat's amazing.
Yeah,
it's one of the best parts of the game.
I was so disincentivized from actually doing it.
Like, I really do think the Master Sword would alleviate some of those issues. Because when you have the Master Sword, you don't feel disincentivized to go fight things now. Because you have a thing that will always come back. and it's
Also,
a good weapon on top of that.
the more you progress, the better items
The
are.
better
in the
your
game.
weapons get. Yeah, like your items get. Dude, the items I'm getting now are insane, and it makes me feel like a moron for hoarding all the old ones. It does, like, because that's how good the items get. Like the items get insanely good.
Why just wandering around and not progressing the story is probably the worst way that you could play the game.
I was doing that at first too, and I was still enjoying it, but it wasn't as fun. Once I started like adhering to the objectives a bit more, and just like doing some of the more structured stuff. But what's cool is that if you feel like going on a tangent because you're like, hey, I don't know, I like the way that rock looks, I'm gonna go check that out. Like,
Yeah, like when you structure your exploration around the objectives that you're supposed to do, that's when I found it to be the most rewarding, because you are allowing something that catches your eye to distract you.
Yeah.
As opposed to just saying, I'm just going to try to find something. Because if you're going out there and trying to find something, you don't even know what you're looking for to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted out of it. That's honestly, it's what I was told was part of what made the game great.
Well, that's the issue, is that you listen to Theo.
And Theo played that game like a crazy person.
It wasn't just Theo. It wasn't only Theo. It wasn't.
Because I never said pick a direction and go anywhere. So.
Yeah, I just
this is the consensus I got from people I heard talking about the game and discussions about the game. So that's the metric I decided to gauge it on, and it didn't tick it. And I have been meaning to go back to it, but I think I just got so much I'd rather be doing that. It's probably just too late.
I honestly, dude, if it bounced off you, it bounced off you. Like, I wouldn't sweat it, you know. It's one of those things where it's like anything you're saying about it, it's not going to deter my feelings on the game.
Yeah.
So like, and anything I say in terms of its praise, I'm not going to convince you, and I'm not trying to ever convince you. You know?
I mean, it felt like a Nintendo Bethesda game to me.
I couldn't disagree more.
Well, for one thing, it's certainly not glitchy.
Yeah. Because Nintendo cares about their game quality. So
you take that back.
Okay. Yeah. A Bethesda game working as intended.
I don't even understand what that's supposed to mean.
That does feel like an oxymoron, doesn't it?
It is an oxymoron. So a lot of Zelda.
I ain't no oxymoron.
Not oxymoron, schmuck. Oxymoron.
Mm-hmm. And taking breaks in between Zelda, I have, besides playing fighting games, obviously, but I have actually kind of put in some hours into Street Fighter 4.
You never liked Street Fighter 4.
Apparently, I like it now.
Apparently now, yeah.
Like,
you like Street Fighter 4. You've liked Street Fighter 4.
No, I like Street Fighter 4. I think I just didn't like what Street Fighter 4 turned into. And I still, at the end of the day, don't like it I'll never like it as much as Third Strike. And I think once I made peace with that.
Yeah.
Like, because my initial, I loved Street Fighter 4 when it first came. I was a huge fan of Vanilla. I really like Super a lot. AE, I enjoyed. Ultra. Like, I liked that game less as it went on.
Because when we were playing Super, you're like, Joe, I don't think I like this.
Yeah, well, Super. The thing about Super, I don't know what it was. Like, I think once I just
they squished too many characters into being medium tier at Super.
Yes.
So that there was no good top tier.
There was like a very, very solid B tier in that game.
Yeah, and
everything was B, and then there was like in Super, who was God in Super? Fei Long?
No, Fei Long didn't get godlike until AE.
Who's the king of Super?
Cammy, maybe.
Sagat.
Not yet. Sagat was still really
Sagat got really nerfed.
Sagat was the king of Vanilla.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Ryu and Sagat in Vanilla. Yeah. They were busted.
Yeah.
Like, it was Street Fighter 2 all over again.
With the fringe,
I think that's why I like
Fringe, Abel, and Rufus.
Vanilla the most. It was just... It felt more like what Street Fighter was, where you have really good characters, and you have a couple of bad characters, and you have some decent characters, and then cool, you pick your top tier, and as long as the top tier is balanced within itself, it's fine.
Yeah. Although, like, I think Street Fighter 4 just got overbalanced to a point where I found it to be frustrating, and I felt like everybody had a solution to deal with the fireball, and that drove me crazy. Like, every character. It's like, okay, every character has...
That's no different than Third Strike either, but...
No, but Third Strike... See, here's the thing, right? And oh, God.
Third Strike's not the same fighting game.
No,
we don't have to... No. We don't have to get into it. It's an entirely different fighting game.
Third Strike
neutral is different.
Yeah, it's a completely different neutral. And waking up and doing nothing is different than waking up in Street Fighter 4 than waking up and doing nothing in Street Fighter 3. Like, those are two different actions, even though they're the same thing.
Yes.
Right? And it's kind of insane
three's
to say that.
Just different beasts. So
yeah, 3 is such a different beast because of it. And like once I figured out, like, when you just accept that wake up do nothing is one of the best things you can do in Street Fighter 4. Like,
it's
that
also
game,
one of the best things you could do in Fighter 3.
Yeah.
For
It is.
entirely different
It is.
reasons.
yeah, it's just for different reasons. Like, waking up do nothing, and I'm like, oh, like, and like so many people are playing because I'm playing on PS4 right now because it came for free when you pre-ordered Anniversary Collection. You got Ultra Street Fighter 4 for free, which I thought was really cool. And yeah, I'm just playing it, and like, I also just had the realization, like, I remember when Joe and I would play a lot, and I would get frustrated unless I was playing Chun-Li. That was the only time I wasn't frustrated. So I'm like, all right, let me take Chun-Li online. Let me just accept that I might be a Chun-Li main in this game. I am 100% a Chun-Li main in this game because I am bodying motherfuckers right now, and it feels great. While her defensive options are limited, her mobility is nuts. Her pokes are godlike.
Yeah,
her buttons are so good.
Street Fighter 4 is about normals, and Chun-Li's got good normals.
Chun-Li's normals are, and it's funny because she's technically a B tier character, but like she's still like. Yeah. What's good about Street Fighter 4 is that, like, being a B tier character doesn't make you garbage. You know what I mean?
Because
like,
everybody's a B tier.
And so what I've been doing is I'm playing to the matchups now, where I'm like, okay, am I playing somebody throwing fireballs? All right, Hosenka, Ultra 1.
Yeah,
no question.
That's what.
So
yeah,
I have Ultra. Oh, you have no more fireball game, right? So you have to respect that, or you're going to be a nut and keep throwing fireballs, and that's fine. Which means I'm just going to kill you.
That's why there's an option. Why they put that option in there.
And having Ultra Double is also really good for certain matchups where I'm unsure. I'm like, okay, I'm not quite sure what to use with this, so I'm going to go with Ultra Double, even though the damage isn't as good. But having the options is really strong.
You really feel the damage nerf with the double. You really feel it.
It hurts. It hurts It hurts my soul a little bit. Which I only pick it against matchups I'm unsure about. Where I'm like, okay, I don't know which one to go with this one. Like, some of them make sense to me, but like, so yeah, I've been doing really strongly. Even when I lose, I don't feel as frustrated because I have just a much more clear understanding of what's going on in the game. It took me to go to Street Fighter 5 to figure out Street Fighter 4.
Street Fighter 5 makes you a better Street Fighter 4 player.
It really does.
Because it really makes you miss those normals. And you go back and like, oh my god, this feels so good to press buttons.
Well, the normals feel good in Street Fighter 5, but the problem is they don't feel as good. Because
they don't feel good at all.
No, they do feel good, Joe. They feel good when you're pressing the right ones. Then they feel real fucking good. The problem is you have a better option. You're more likely to push a bad button at the worst time in Street Fighter 5 than you are in Street Fighter 4. So that's why it doesn't seem like it feels
because
good.
of crush counter.
Yes.
Here's my question. How would Street Fighter 4 be if the Ultra system was not a comeback mechanic, but only charged with a focus attack? Not a focus attack, but like a focus absorption. Because you could charge Ultra like that, but what if that was the only way to charge your Ultra? How would that game be different?
It would still make the game defensive as fuck.
It would probably make it even more defensive,
and honestly, it would be bad because certain focus attacks are better than others.
Yeah,
and that doesn't work. Yeah, like Fei Long's focus attack is nuts, which is one of the best reasons why he's so good.
You know it's the worst focus attack in the game? You already know this answer.
Balrog?
Guile.
Oh, Guile. That's right.
Yeah. Just because of the nature of how its mechanics work.
Yep. Because you can't do it while you're charging.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You can.
It's just like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work very well for Guile because of charge specials.
But what's also good about Guile is that because ironically, Red Focus fixed a lot of the problems in that game.
Unless you're playing the DS version, the 3DS version.
Exactly.
Then Guile's busted. Guile is
walk forward, Sonic Boom.
Walk forward, Sonic Boom. Walk forward, Flash Kick.
Well,
I don't mind if I do.
You can actually walk forward and Sonic Boom in Street Fighter 4, though. They changed the timing mechanics so that it does allow you to do that, just so that you can have some ability to use his focus attack.
Right, but you could walk forward half screen and pretend Sonic Boom in the 3DS.
It was Street Fighter 2 version of AI Guile.
Yeah. It was very satisfying. So I've just been doing really well with Chun-Li. She's up. I have like almost like almost have like 2,000. I almost have over 2,000. Is it player points now?
Yeah.
It's like I'm like doing really
Getting
well.
up,
Like
yeah.
I'm just messing people up, and I'm like having a lot of fun.
It's great that people are still playing it.
Yeah, I know it's because it's a good game, and
Yeah.
and I have not run into
I wonder
Elena
how,
yet.
Yeah,
which is nice.
That is nice. Well, the problem with Elena is not an online problem. Elena is not an online problem.
She's a problem.
Elena is a tournament level problem.
Yeah,
because at that level is the only level where you see how poorly designed that character is. Because only at that level can people execute the stuff that makes her way better than everything else. And then there's the hitbox and hurtbox issues on top of that. So
and she can FADC through some characters.
Yeah,
like
very, very poorly designed character.
My God,
very, very poorly designed.
They needed to finish it. Like there should be one last patch of Street Fighter. Just
honestly, I never want to see Elena in another Street Fighter game as long.
I am horrified at the prospect that she might be in Street Fighter 5.
Never want to see Elena in another Street Fighter game. Period. I never liked the character. I don't like her design.
I think I like her design. And I like her as a character, but like she healing in a game with a comeback mechanic like Ultras was just a mistake. Like I think that alone just like. I don't like just as long as you can hit her. Just make me be able to hit her, and I won't ever have problems with the character ever again. Because you have trouble hitting her in Third Strike too.
Yeah.
Even though there's some characters she has. Oh my God.
Like Third Strike is another kind of poorly designed animal. It's indicative of Capcom at the time.
You're wrong, but that's okay.
No, it's the Marvel 2 era kind of bad design where it's just like. Throw shit on the table, and here's our game.
No, that's true. There's design choices in that game that are like, that was probably
clearly some of Third Strike is not working as it was intended. Very, very clearly.
Yes, yes. But they inadvert. Look, I'm not saying that game is a masterpiece on purpose.
No,
it's not.
Yes,
it is not. But
likewise with Marvel 2.
Marvel 2 is a broken shithouse of a game, but I love it.
It's like you put your Marvel 2 is what happens when you throw a bunch of your favorite foods into a blender, get puree, and it actually tastes pretty good.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, that worked.
Cool,
but it did.
And it never worked again.
That's not true. Marvel 3 is a good game.
Marvel 3 is much more well put together than Marvel 2 is.
It is.
And even then, it's kind of a mess.
Oh yeah, it's got broken shit.
But it's still but you know, oh God, there's so much that's viable in Marvel 3.
Yeah,
everybody's viable when everybody can kill you in one.
Yeah, I would say when everybody has a TOD combo. Yeah, my perpetual problem with that game.
Yeah, but it's still, you know what? It's still really fun to watch for the variety.
Fun. I will always watch that game. It's always entertaining.
It's better for everybody to have a touch of death than it is for one character to have a block infinite to kill you.
I was watching Marlon Pie play this guy who had a Thor, Doctor Strange, and what was his? I think it was Dante. It was Thor. I think it was Thor, Doctor Strange, Dante, or Thor, Doctor Strange, Virgil.
Somebody likes to work for their wins.
He was.
He's using Dante.
Using Thor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like using Dante and not Virgil means you like to work.
I don't remember what his third character was, but I definitely remember Thor and Doctor Strange.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that it was fun to watch.
I peg Thor as like the worst character in that game.
Not according to this guy. He was legit.
Look, you know what? You know the best person I've run into in Street Fighter 4 was a Hakan player, and he bodied me. He beat the shit out of me.
Well, here's the thing about Hakan. Hakan can go under a lot of Chun-Li's good normals.
Oh, I learned that. Once I realized, I'm like, this is when he's oiled up. I always forget when he's oiled up. He's actually one of the best characters in the game.
Yeah,
but that's part of his mechanics.
That's what James Chen told me.
It's true. But yeah, Street Fighter 4.
It's good stuff. Good game.
Having fun.
Good. Still good.
Street Fighter 4 and Zelda. Still a great game. And Zelda's, I'm so happy. I can't wait to talk about it after I finish it.
Yeah.
Which will probably definitely be by next week.
Probably, definitely.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Almost certainly not.
I'm almost done with the shrines, and I don't plan on getting 400 Korok seeds. So.
Okay. Dre, you got anything new to discuss?
That's fun.
Yeah, is it? Because
Yeah,
what are you playing?
I'm playing Diablo 3.
Yeah, there you go.
That actually reminds me, I should play Breath of Fire 3 again. I have not played it this year.
Yearly playthrough.
I've been meaning to do something for a long time, and I just haven't gotten around to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to drop it right now, but only when I start it.
I'm excited for it, and you better
You know
the
what?
shit
I
out of it.
was gonna do it the other day, but my taxes went long, and then I was gonna do it last night, but then stuff happened. I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, Joe, you should do it.
I plan on doing it tomorrow. Who knows what's gonna happen then? But yeah, y'all better watch because I want people watching.
I will be on for it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Even if I'm playing Zelda, if I have to play Zelda and have you on, I will do that.
I really want people watching this.
Yeah. If I'm not on tomorrow, because honestly, I had people over.
Look, okay, I'll spoil it. I'm gonna play Deus Ex. I'm gonna play Deus Ex 2000 with a GMDX mod enabled that enhances the game a little bit, but that's only because it makes it easy to view. Like, I wanted to
doesn't look like a polygonal mess.
Well, no, it still looks like a polygonal mess, but without this mod enabled, there's a lot of modern graphic stuff like monitor resolutions and refresh rates and screen size that make streaming it really look terrible. Mm-hmm. So I had to enable it, and it changes the gameplay a little bit, but that's not what's important. The important part is finding all the faucets and turning them on.
I'm so for this.
Sole purpose for me playing this.
Faucet counter. I'm so on for it. I'm so on for it, man.
So please watch. I don't beg for views off it, but this is something I've been thinking about doing for years.
Joe, I'm excited for you. So
Okay.
I think this is your love of this game will come out while doing this.
We'll see.
So I think you need to do that.
I'm still finding new stuff.
Man.
During my test runs, I found new stuff. And those on the first level. But here's Dre ordering Domino's again.
Hey, man, let him. Sometimes Domino's is okay.
Yeah.
Wrong with Domino's.
There's not. No. As a New Yorker.
Yeah, well, we don't necessarily.
There's a few things I could say about that, but once you understand that Domino's.
It's not pizza.
Yeah, it's completely. It's a completely different thing.
It is.
But like I'm saying, comfort food. Oh my God, this is comfort food. Just going back to good old reliable when you need to bridge the gap between games.
Yep.
There you are. Good old meat and potatoes Diablo 3. How excited for Diablo 4 are you, by the way?
I'm extremely excited. It's a day one purchase for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to be in it. Just like Diablo 3 is a day one purchase for me, and hopefully I'll be able to play it when they release it, because I was not able to play Diablo 3 when they released it because, it was I don't even remember the damn error. But there was that damn error.
I remember that whole thing. There's a string of numbers.
Yeah,
it was bad. Day one Diablo 3 was bad.
Really bad.
What about Path of Exile 2?
No, I'm not
really radar interested. At all?
Nope.
What would that game need to do in order for you to want to play it?
It would need to be called Diablo 4. So here's the thing with pretty much every other action RPG that I play. And I've tried a lot of them. Like, what was the Titan? God, I forgot the damn name.
Torchlight?
No, I played Torchlight.
Mm-hmm.
There was the Titan Quest or something. Was it Titan Quest?
I don't remember.
I don't remember the name of the game anymore. But they had a couple of them, and it was like a mythology based one.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about it. It's the fact that it just takes so long to get to the impressive parts of the game. And they all take a long time to get to the impressive parts of the game. And I feel like that's never the case with Diablo.
Well, you're familiar with it. That has to have some bearing on it.
Well, I mean, it's not like they've released that many of them, right?
Yeah.
But we're only on 3.
But here's the thing. Like,
the series has been around since the 90s.
You know it. Like, you know it intimately by now. You know how to get to the good part each time you go back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I understand that. For like Diablo 3, obviously I'm always able to get back to where I need to get back to every season.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, Diablo has never been about overcomplicating anything.
Yeah.
It says, here's your good shit, and you need to have a path to get to the good shit. And then you get there, cool. Now work on making it better. That's basically all Diablo boils down to. All these other ones, it feels like the good shit is obscured, especially in Path of Exile.
Yeah.
It takes so long to get to the good shit.
Oh my god! I tried playing it not too long. It is so bloated.
Mm-hmm.
It really felt like
it
felt like going through Final Fantasy 14 again. Where
I would never want to play an alt character in Final Fantasy 14. Never.
Yeah. Not even after they fix it. But with Path of Exile, you had to go through the whole story, and they added a bunch of shit, and they just keep adding and stacking and stacking and stacking, and you're like overwhelmed with mechanics from like previous iterations. As you're trying to get through it the first time, it was really not something that was really welcoming to new players. On top of the really intimidating big sphere grid wheel, whatever you want to call it, was, which I love the idea of, but please make more intuitive. I'm really hoping 2 makes it a little more intuitive.
You know what the worst part is? It's all passives.
Yeah.
Well, you're just sitting there, and it's like, okay, well, it's not all passives, but there's so many passives.
Yeah.
It never feels good to sit there and have to agonize over which passive is the right passive.
And picking the right path to get to the place you need to go, and how respec things are hitting behind items that give you 1 refund. It felt bad. It felt really bad. It felt really bad to get in as a new player.
Also, leveling is pretty damn slow.
It is really damn slow. And on some level, I definitely appreciate that. I don't like when things designed to be that hardcore start catering and be to newer players and getting more homogenous, because I've complained about this before. Homogenization kind of ruins things for me. So I appreciate the level of complexity into it, but I think it's a little too late for me to get into it. There's just too many layers for a new player. At some point, you just got to stop. At some point, you just got to let it be as complex as it is. Don't add any more layers, because new players are going to be turned off. Things get like that. Things eventually, the bigger things get, homogenization is inevitable.
The bloat comes in at some point. Always.
It's inevitable. You have to streamline things to make things more accessible.
But then it ends up ruining that complexity in the first place.
Exactly.
It's a double-edged sword.
If you want new players, you're going to have to streamline things. You're going to have to make it simpler. Especially if you want. Especially if you want to. Yeah. Same thing. Same problem. There's no winning. Either you keep going and leave things the way they are, and nobody new is going to play, or you make things simpler, and then your old players are going to leave, and then the game's not the way it used to be, like a World of Warcraft.
I was literally about to say WoW, just like WoW is.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it is, but I know what it is with Path of Exile, but I just don't like the game. I'm
hoping
if anything, just the speed of Diablo compared to Path of Exile is just.
It lets you jump
Diablo's a faster game.
It lets you jump back into it every now and then with little difficulty. You can start fresh in Diablo 3 season and feel good about it once you reach your first goal.
Mm-hmm.
Or like me, when you reach literally every goal at once.
Like I said, intimate knowledge about how it works.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point of me playing Diablo, it's just, I don't have to think anymore, which is fine because
it's supposed
I'm not playing.
Yeah, it's supposed.
I'm not playing Diablo because I want to think. I'm playing Diablo because I want to blow things up.
Right. You don't want to be. You don't want to be challenged. You want to be entertained.
Entertained.
Yes.
I just want to be entertained. Diablo entertains me.
Yeah.
So obviously, new season. This season has basically a worthless season thing going on where, they've done a couple of good ones, but for the most part, it's going to be hard to top the season of having one less set piece.
You gotta scale it back some way, right?
Like you can't expect them to be all that good. But this one is just not really that impressive. It just does a random attack every 90 seconds, and that random attack is stronger with the more enemies you kill in that 90-second frame.
That's 90 seconds is a long time in Diablo 3.
It's a long time, and the attacks aren't even that good.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're really slow. You can't pinpoint them anywhere. It's not good. It might as well not even exist.
That seems like they scaled it back a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been listen, they had a few seasons where they went nuts, where they said, you know what? Obviously, the set piece one, then they had the season of if you were wearing no set pieces, you get a big bonus, which, that's not, I can't stand that set, but that set, the Legacy of Dreams or Legacy of Nightmares, whatever it's called now, because there's like multiple versions of it. I don't like it, but there are people who like it, and there are very effective builds that are made because of it. And it does allow for build flexibility that doesn't exist by just putting on set pieces.
Yeah.
So I appreciate its existence. I just don't like it, personally.
Okay.
Then they just had this season, I think last season, where there was like, whatever legendary power you want, you can put it on in your cube. You don't have to worry about predetermined slots. So if you wanted 3 weapon legendary powers, you could put 3 weapon legendary powers. That was amazing. There are so many new builds that came out because of that existence. This season thing gimmick doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything. It feels like it's designed to just be like, make the next one seem better.
Maybe that's just what it is.
Yeah, season, power creep has always been a problem, and nobody understands this better than the people who support Diablo 3.
Well, to me, it's not a problem, but I mean,
to
the developers, it's a problem. To the players, I don't know if it's a problem. The developers, it's definitely a problem.
Oh, in multiplayer games, it gets to be a problem, but Diablo 3 is not one of those types of multiplayer games.
It's a PvE game, so it doesn't really matter how ridiculous it gets as long as the game scales with it.
Exactly.
Instead of having a good season theme, what they did was they just gave a couple of new sets to Demon Hunter and to Necromancer. And they make Corpse Explosion really good for Necromancer. So that's as a signature attack.
Back to where it was.
Makes people love Necromancer in the beginning. It's nice to have a good Corpse Explosion again. But they went and made Demon Hunters literal gods. And that's actually the name of the set. The abbreviation of the set is GOD. So,
Guerrillas of Destiny?
I actually forgot what it stands for because there's no reason to read the name of it.
Until you remember, it's Guerrillas of Destiny.
Sure.
Guerrillas of Destiny?
Yeah, that's your wrestling reference for tonight, by the way.
Bullet Club for life.
Different faction, but hey, whatever. Tama Tonga would like to have words with you.
Oh, were the Guerrillas of Destiny not part of Bullet Club anymore?
You know what? I haven't followed New Japan for a while.
Tama Tonga is like the second in command of Bullet Club, like for his entire life.
You know, New Japan just had a show with like 30% attendance in the arena. That's huge.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's Japan.
I hope everybody's it's Japan, so I'm sure they were all very
respectful and super safe. Of course they were. Culturally, that's what they do.
You know, there was it would have sounded like a packed arena anyway. After I thought it's just respectful applause.
Yeah. Scream inside your hearts.
Yes. That's freaking amusement park thing.
Anyway.
Did you see the same thing I said where it's like that's a slogan for 2020?
Yes.
Scream on the inside with your heart.
That is the toppest of tiers for memes right now. That one.
So anyway, a couple of seasons ago, they really brought up the barbarians. Barbarians have been much maligned in most history of Diablo 3 because being a pure melee character in this game is very dangerous because as you power creep, the enemies are power creeping too. So that means they just get to hit you more, and that's a problem.
You ever just feel like this was a direct result because barbarians were so busted in Diablo 2 for so long?
I don't know. It doesn't feel that way. It just feels like with the way Diablo 3 scaled. Because Diablo 3, the way it is now, the way it was when the expansion came out, is really just a patchwork game because they had to piece it together from the mess that game was originally.
Yeah.
So they had to make it work with how the game engine functioned, and I don't think making Barbarian not viable was on purpose.
Okay.
It's just the way the enemies scale and how much damage they do, and the way the enemies are designed with how their attacks go.
Yeah.
It's just, because Diablo 3 has to do things on its own rules. Because what they're doing with this game, it's kind of just breaking the rules from how it's designed. It's just bending it a little bit, shifting the code around a little bit, making it work. So this game is really not working the way it was originally intended. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. They got to make it work in some way.
So maybe Diablo 4 will be certainly designed a lot better. That's what I'm hoping.
I feel like for the most part, what the game is that it's going to have more of a D2 aesthetic, with more of a D3 level of influence, and they're just going to learn from the mistakes they made in D3.
Well, all Diablo 4 needs for me is to not be good on accident, like 3 was, like Reaper of Souls was, because it was good on accident. Well, maybe that's exaggerating a little bit.
Reaper of Souls was definitely making it good.
There's a reason they called it Repair of Souls.
Yes, I'm saying Reaper of Souls was great.
All right, anyway, the Barbarians finally got something a couple seasons ago. They got an improvement to a couple of items. Some items got changed entirely. They kept the same name, but they got new abilities and stuff. And they basically ended up making the Whirlwind Barbarian very good again.
It's the classic.
Very good to the point of it's basically the best Barbarian build and one of the best builds in the game. Now, what they did in this season was they decided that they were going to give that to Demon Hunters. So now Demon Hunters are a better Whirlwind Barbarian, except, obviously they're Demon Hunters, so they don't have to be in melee range.
Where the danger is. Right.
So I think it's Gears of the Dreadlands. That's what it's called.
So not Guerrillas of Destiny.
Yeah, right. Gears of the Dreadlands.
Man, I really got to catch up on my NJPW then.
It's not. What it does is it just basically powers up your very first attack or any just primary attack, not non-resource spending attack. So hatred generators in terms of Demon Hunter. It will power any of them up by 200%, and then that 200% decays every second, so you have to keep using your abilities. The next step is that it makes your strafe move faster based on how many stacks of that you have. So as the closer you are to 200%, the faster you move.
Hold on. I'm going to see if I can guess the last part of the set. The last part of the set makes strafe use your primary hatred generator?
No, that's actually that part of the set.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That 4-piece bonus has so much text.
Oh my god.
Makes your strafe move faster. Your strafe shoots your primary attack.
There it is.
There's your 6. You get defense bonus while strafing. And then the last bonus just says, you get 10,000% more damage. By the way, this is not even the highest damage bonus that Demon Hunters get in their sets. There's another set that makes your Impale do 60,000% extra damage.
This is what I mean by a patchwork experience. The fact that they have to tack bonuses like this to make the game functional. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just how the engine's designed.
Right. It's not that it's making it functional, it's that this is what happens when you don't nerf things. That the game has to escalate up, and as something escalates up, then things get left behind, and then people complain saying this gets left behind. So they had buff those two, and then you end up with absurdity. Which, I'm playing Diablo because I don't mind the absurdity. I want to see gigantic numbers. I want to see if I can get past 7 billion damage on one hit.
And everybody wants to see those dumb numbers, which is why you play the game.
It's very satisfying to get to that level for anything, not just
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
like this is why I played this Gaia, because I don't care about the story of those games. I just want to see how absurdly broken I can get.
Big numbers.
I like chasing the absurdity of how broken you get. So this is like Diablo scratches the itch for me, because at the point of my experience in the game, I can get to that really fast. Combine that with this set, which is nuts, absolute nuts. It clears out rooms so fast.
Strafe is like you go in and shoot in all directions. So
you're shooting in all directions. You're shooting your primary skill in all directions, which now does 10,000% more damage. You've already done the smart thing and layered on all of your legendary abilities that buff that attack. And now you just clear out things ridiculously fast. It's been out for, I think, 9 days now. And not even at 800 Paragon, which is basically where you complete your most of your Paragon stuff. You've filled out all 3 of your Paragon tabs, and after level 800, you only get Paragon points into one tab, and you just linearly increase your power each level. Just +5 main stat every level that you go.
They changed the way that works then.
That's how it's always worked.
Oh, because you max everything out in the Paragon, and then you just
and then you just only get it into primary skill.
Yeah.
So that's when
I remember now.
That's when you're considered to be at peak, and you only go up from there. Mm-hmm. So I managed to clear a Greater Rift 100 with this set, and max Greater Rift is 150, but the breakpoint of did you have a good season is generally sitting at did you make it to Greater Rift 100 at this point of the game's life. And this is the first time that I've done it. I usually get to like 90, and it gets a little bit too hard to progress, and then you have to put in a lot of work to like augment gear. And I'm just like, okay, at this point, I'm fine with where I'm at. I'm mostly happy. Mm-hmm. I'm like Paragon 760. I probably could have done it a lot earlier, but then I got like sidetracked by power leveling friends, and it is just like today I said, let me see if I can do it, because I did 95. And it was so easy. I cleared it in like 3 minutes.
Jesus.
And you have 15 minutes to do it.
Are you using Demon Hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, not obviously, because this dude only played Wizard for like the longest time.
Yeah, but how could he be telling us about the busted shit if he wasn't playing it?
He can still tell us about the busted shit and not be telling us and not be playing it.
So I play Wizard primarily, yes, but I figured out 2 things about this game. Wizard is a very poor class at speed running things, which makes it so that you can't get the crafting materials you need to really push high. So the past few seasons, it used to be I would start Demon Hunter on any season where you would have the Firebird mage set, because that set is garbage. It is terrible. I cannot stand it. It's like some of the worst gameplay in that game. So if it starts a Firebird, I'd say, okay, this is my Demon Hunter season. And then after like it would cycle the rest of the things, and I'd gear those up because I don't mind the other Wizard sets. Mm-hmm. And then Firebirds come around, and I would gear just Demon Hunter instead, because I don't mind playing Demon Hunter. I like Demon Hunter. This season was Firebirds, so I'm like, yeah, but you know what? The past 3 seasons I started with Demon Hunter because Demon Hunter is just faster, and then I would level up my mage off of the efforts of my Demon Hunter. This season, I don't see a reason to play my Wizard. I'm going to roll a Demon Hunter. I rolled the Demon Hunter, and I'm going to roll the Necromancer so I can see what exactly this new Corpse Explosion is. Mm-hmm. And I don't know when I'm going to do it, because I'm just blowing everything up with the Demon Hunter. And
there's no need to do anything else.
It's just fun. It's just fun.
That's all that matters.
Nice.
And so
Diablo.
Yeah, Diablo 3 as always.
That's fun.
I mean, I'm still logging into the Division and playing it every so often. Mm-hmm. I'm still not really done with it, but it's hard to. I'm at the point where I need to play on challenging, and I can't settle on a spec that I want to really work with. Mm-hmm. So if I don't like, there's one that's a little bit too easy to play on challenging and not really like interactive or honestly, it's too safe. So it ends up being kind of boring. But anything else is too dangerous, and you just die all the time. So I've been playing on the spec that's too safe because that's the only way I can get progression. And I'm just hoping to end up cobbling together something that allows me to play something a little bit different until it gets there.
Something less safe but more rewarding.
Yeah.
Man, that sounds very similar to something I've been going through.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't dislike it because
Well, I know you like it.
I've made a career out of doing the safest possible things to get to my goals. So it doesn't really go against how I normally play games, but it's not a style of gameplay that I really want to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because it's safe. It's just I would rather play a different style.
You're looking at it as working towards a different goal.
Yeah, and it's essentially what I do when I roll a Demon Hunter the past few seasons.
Yeah,
I'm rolling the Demon Hunter because
it's a means to an end,
and then I can play what I want to play. So that's the situation I'm in right now. But the Division 2 is nowhere near as fast as Diablo. So
No.
It takes a while to get to it, and I have to hunt for targeted loot and hope that I start getting the right exotics that I can start using. The drop rate is nowhere near as generous. There's no Torment 16 where everything you drop is a legendary.
Wait, didn't they cap at 15? They brought it up again?
No, it was 6, 10, 13, 16.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're going to do any more Torment level increases, but they have to nerf this Demon Hunter set because it's too good.
Well, you know what? Just let it rock for the season and just.
Well, yes, I don't think they're going to change it in the season because they don't patch during the season.
Yeah.
Unless there's some game breaking thing. Like in the previous season, they had a similar mechanic with the seasonal goal. It was released a big attack based off of a kill streak. The problem was that people figured out that they could clear a rift almost to the Guardian, go to a really easy area, rack up a 500 or so kill streak, hop back into the rift, and then basically explode the Guardian with the attack that's godlike. And they used that to get to 150, and that's when they figured out that the greater rifts were capped at 150. I think
that's how they found out.
Yeah, that's how they found out. And then Blizzard was like, you guys are not using this in the intended way, so we're going to have to stop this. Like, we meant for this kill streak thing for you to be in the zone that you are kill streaking, and that's when it triggers, not start a greater rift, leave it, go and fight random stuff, and then come back and nuke the boss.
Well, their fault for making it work.
Seriously.
Yeah. I mean, that's just player-based ingenuity. I don't think anybody really got punished for it. I just think that I feel like somebody might have lost the greater rift, like their number one spot.
I don't know. Those are all in-game mechanics that work. There's no exploits that are being utilized there. That's all stuff that is functional within the game. That doesn't sound like it's on the up and up to me. That seemed like they should have just left it as it was.
Well, I don't think anybody got banned for it, but it was not their intention.
Right. Well,
so that's why they fixed it.
A lot of stuff has happened that wasn't the intention of something.
Mm-hmm.
Their fault like I said, their fault for making it work.
So, yeah, Diablo, having fun.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to get to our normal 800 Paragon, and at that point, we'll see where we feel about continuing to play. I finished the entire season journey in basically 7 days, like a week. Most of the seasons I did not even finish it. And I did this one in a week.
Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
Why not?
Too good. It's just too good. So I'm enjoying my seasonal reward you picked, which I don't even know what the hell it is, but I got it.
Does it look cool?
So I'm using it. No. But I got it, so I'm using it.
Some kind of badge of honor. That's all it really needs to be, I guess.
I get it.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what I got.
Yeah.
So,
well, good. We went long on talking about old shit.
Happens.
That's for old dudes. So, we talk about old shit.
It's just the old man configuration.
Old dudes talk about
right.
old shit.
That's
if I haven't
the name
seen
of this
it, it's
podcast.
new to me.
Mm.
But you've seen it already.
So let's go ahead and hit pause for a second here.
Mhm.
We'll come back with some news and see where we go from there.
Yep, sounds
New
good.
segment.
Different segments, not new.
Yeah. It's another old segment. But it's new.
All right. We got to talk about it.
Yes.
There's no avoiding
Uh-huh.
We got to talk
Yep.
about the elephant in the room.
Yep.
So go ahead and say everything about me you want to.
it. Are you wearing gray?
No. I'm not. Okay. Yes, I am.
Elephants
not,
are
though.
gray.
Elephants are gray, except when they're not.
I am also wearing gray.
Sometimes they are brown,
Sometimes they are brown.
but they are always big.
That is
So
true.
Evo got canceled. Evo
Evo.
is canceled.
And
It's
yeah,
gone.
it's done.
For this year, it's canceled. And honestly, I don't know if we're going to have a Evo next year. Pretty sure we'll have an event next year.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to be called Evo.
no, I think the Evo branding is tainted at this point.
Yeah.
Honestly, after this, you don't get away out of this unscathed. You don't.
So
Yeah, you don't get out of this without some lingering, festering rot.
So if nobody
the
knows
name
what
brand.
we're talking about and why it got canceled, the CEO of Evo, Mr. Wizard,
Joey
Joey
Quallar.
Quallar.
Joey Cellular, who has been there from pretty much the beginning. Like he helped organize B3, right?
He's been around forever.
Yeah.
So just a bunch of really damning allegations came out. And
Which he admitted to.
He admitted to, and it was also backed up by more than one person.
Exactly.
This is the important part. These things, he admitted to this. So these are not just allegations. These are
It started as allegations,
Mhm.
and the moment it all kind of blew up, literally everyone pulled out of Evo.
Yeah,
including all the companies and their games. I think the only people who didn't pull out was no, everyone.
Skullgirls didn't pull out, but I mean that was probably
its own. Yeah,
that was its own bag of worms.
Yeah.
Not as certainly a lot dumber.
Yes.
Than that.
Yeah.
I won't get into that. I'm just going to talk about what I know.
Yeah.
And what I know is that before everybody pulled out, by the way, Evo was canceled.
Yeah.
So before everyone had a chance to.
Yeah. Well, they hadn't. I think a bunch of people it happened so fast that most of the commentators had pulled out. Like Sage M had pulled out, and Max had pulled out.
James Chen pulled out.
And these are like the Evo staple people here who pulled out.
And then the game company started pulling out.
Yeah.
So at some point it's just like, okay, this event just isn't happening because. Yeah. So do you want to actually talk about what the allegations were?
Yeah, we can say.
I don't know if we need to get into specifics.
We don't have to go into specifics about it, but
usually we don't touch on stuff like this, but we talk about Evo all the time.
All the time.
It's because we don't I actually kind of because Max, when Max touched on it, I actually kind of share the sentiment of I don't want to spread drama and gossip. I want to talk about I don't obviously we want to talk about when bad shit happens, of course.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about the allegations. They happened. They were admitted to. I want to talk about what's happening to Evo.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
We'll say this about it. If you've been following any of the current allegations that have been happening in the world in general, in television, wrestling, another thing that we talk about a lot, and
comics,
almost everything is getting it right now because this is just people are taking justice into their hands because nobody is helping them get justice.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and
It's
among
unfortunate.
among other things that have happened this year concerning like people wanting justice,
Yeah.
like this is what this year is going to be about.
Mm-hmm.
So, any one specific allegation, I don't think it's necessarily
This is the July episode for 2020.
Yep.
Right. Like we can just say it's not dissimilar from other things that we have seen.
Yeah.
In similar allegations that have gone on. So we don't have to give it any specific light outside of the fact that Mr. Wizard admitted to it, and it was corroborated by more than just the person who brought it up, because it happened relatively publicly.
Yeah. I will say that legally, because there was no prosecution made, these are still allegations.
Yeah, from a legal standpoint, yeah.
Even if he has admitted to it, he can eventually walk it back with his lawyer and whatever. Right. But there is no reason to not believe it at this point, since he said that he did it, and it looks like it was under his own free will. I don't expect that other people like put a gun to his head and said, "Hey," because you know what? He could have said, "I never did this," but he didn't.
He did. Yeah. And now Evo, at least this year is done, and the branding is probably going to be rebranded. And I'm thinking, did I dodge a bullet? Because imagine if
you were
if I was still going.
Yeah.
Imagine if I was still going to go, and this got canceled literally as I was planning the road trip to go.
Yeah.
I would have
been really upset.
Oh yeah.
This year, all of the stuff that happened this year, starting with the pandemic. I really feel like the pandemic is actually the root of all of this happening.
Oh, of course.
All right, I'm trying not to get too political on it, but like the Black Lives Matter thing came up, obviously because of the murder. It intensified because of the murder of George Floyd.
Yeah.
And I don't think that light would have shone on it the way it did if people were about their daily lives the way they are.
If we didn't have to stare at it.
If everybody had more things to do than just to look at it.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying
everybody's kind of a keyboard warrior right now.
Yeah.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. It's just that it's there and you can't avoid it, because this is literally the way that you're keeping in touch with the world right now. Is you must be on the internet. Yep. I don't know. I don't like the term keyboard warrior, because people have a right to be mad about that.
Right. I'm not using it as a derogatory term. I'm using it as a term like, people are on their machines all the time, and on Twitter and those other social media more.
Right.
Yeah. It's a matter of like, this is instead of like having something that you could separate, it's life now, essentially.
Yes.
Like our digital
case in point.
Yeah.
How we're recording right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And because you can't avoid it, and it's just always there staring in your face, and now there are tangible results, not necessarily like what people are looking for from the movement at this point, but there are tangible results. Things are happening.
Yeah.
So other people are seeing this and saying, well, the system has failed us too, so now we have to take justice into our own hands, the way that Black Lives Matter had to take justice into their own hands.
Yeah.
So this thing just kind of like blew up, because Me Too already happened.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a relatively successful movement, but the thing is that no real change happened from it. So now this is kind of like the extension of it, and it's starting to take down almost everything, like I said before.
Yeah.
So it got its hands on Evo, and did you get lucky and dodge a bullet? I don't know, but I don't.
Only in that I didn't have to make plans so close to its cancellation.
Yes,
right. Like if the pandemic never happened, I don't think there would have been anywhere near as much of this stuff happening.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's basically all connected in one like twisting, turning 2020.
Yeah. There's a lot of truth to that for sure.
Absolutely. No, I agree. I completely agree, because it's just the fact is you can't avoid this now. It's there. It's there for for enough people to see and to dwell on and to come to their own conclusions about things that have happened to them in the past, and a realization of like maybe it was something they might not even known was wrong, and they're just kind of like, man, that was kind of fucked up. And like when you have to be introspective as often, like especially with everybody's current seminar, you can just kind of stare at it like and be like, holy shit, like this a lot of crazy shit has happened to me, you know?
Yeah.
And like that sort of thing is going to make things like this come out. You know, it's just
people are more willing to speak up on it.
Yeah,
because that's how it happened.
And that's exactly how it happens, because you know when you see someone who had enough courage to come out and say something in the first place, and it kind of builds on it there, you know. And this is not to say that there will not be people who will be shitty and you know say things that might not be true, but then that just creates a whole nother conundrum of like, you know, do you believe the victim? Like, you not believing the victim is not good either. You know.
Yeah, it's a situation.
It's a real messy situation.
Don't envy anybody being in them, and you just
yeah. And like I don't want to downplay that either. And this isn't one of those things that like I'm advocating for people to deal with the pain that's been dealt, the hand that's been dealt to them, and to deal with it in the best way that they can.
Right. I said though, I wanted to talk about Evo.
Yeah, but yeah,
right.
and this is where this all
we're setting up the context of what happened.
Exactly. So this is where this all stemmed from, and now it's a matter of
where do we go from here? Where do
we go from here?
Where does it go?
Like
Tom Cannon, or is it Tony? Is it Tom or Tony?
There's
which one? Which
Tom
one?
and
Tony. They're twins,
right?
Right?
Sorry, which one of the Cannon brothers?
Tony. I think
Tony?
Tony's the CEO. I think.
All right. Anyway, one of the guys who developed GGPO, by the way.
Yes.
Both of them.
Both of them did. Yeah.
Is now the CEO of Evo, the Evo brand.
Yeah.
And to be clear, they were always involved in Evo at a very high level.
Yes.
Right. So it wasn't just given to them. They were probably next on the chain to pick it up after, so this is fine. The only problem I have with this is that they work for Riot, who in turn is owned by Tencent.
Yep.
But I don't.
And they're currently making the League of Legends fighting game.
Yeah. But even though I'm not on board with Tencent just gobbling up as much video game stuff as they probably can, they have been pretty hands off with what they do own, and letting them just be autonomous to just have money invested into it. So I don't see this. I don't see them getting. Certainly don't see them getting involved in Evo as far as the organization goes.
No. What
games are being played at it. I don't see that affecting it all that much, if at all. And not unless practices change in the near future, that anything can happen. But right now, I don't foresee any changes to how it functions. I do expect a brand shift away from Evo.
You think it'll just become something else now?
It's hard to say exactly what, because Evo does have that name recognition. Yeah. Around this time of year, fighting games really take off. People get invested in the tournaments that happen every year. Every year it happens.
Yeah.
Evo is the fighting game tournament. People start paying attention to fighting games at least a little bit more when Evo happens. So there is that name recognition to it. And I don't think it can go away completely. That being said, there's no way you can get out of this without some kind of damage to the brand.
Yeah. I agree. Because I'm going to say it. I'm not. This is not accusing anyone, but it is really hard for me to believe that people didn't know about this shit. Who are in the upper management? I'm not accusing anyone in particular.
Here's the thing about that. Even if they did, is it really their place to come forward about it?
No,
that's an entirely different discussion.
No,
I probably shouldn't have even asked the question.
No, Joe, but no, and it's okay. It's at the same time though, like if they know something is wrong and they did nothing, that's really hard to justify.
Well, true.
It's impossible.
Well, true. If I knew something about you guys, I probably wouldn't say anything either. Straight
up. That's fair. No, of course, because that's. But it doesn't matter because I'm not the only person who's going to ask that question.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what adds to that brand damage.
The fact that people knew about it. At the same time, if there's no crime, this is an entirely different thing. But maybe are you saying that like some corporate restructuring needs to take place entire like 100%?
No,
we have because we have the higher ups already in charge now. That's already done. That's not changing.
No, not necessarily. I'm not, and again, I'm not talking. I think the corporate rebranding needs to happen.
Okay.
I think a rebranding is necessary. My point is, I'm trying to say, I think the branding needs to change altogether now.
Is there a way they can do that while keeping some of the recognition alive?
I think so.
I mean, they own the websites. It's not like they don't, so their websites can just direct to a new page, and they can have a nice little blurb on it of why we have to change our name.
Yeah,
and then, like the things have like Kentucky Fried Chicken dropped their name for like 20 years.
Yeah,
and so now if Evo, because Evo's official title is the Evolution Championship Series, right?
Yeah.
What if they start calling themselves ECS?
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's not quite as catchy as Evo.
No,
I see, but I see what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Right? Like they don't have to change the name; they just need to shift the focus of the brand.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they just go back to calling it Evolution.
No, because then it ends up getting called Evo anyway after that.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I mean. Like,
but look at it like this: who knows that it's Evo is going to go to random unnamed event at Mandalay Bay next year.
If they're still holding it there.
If they're still holding it there.
Mm-hmm.
But like somewhere in Vegas, they have the funds to be able to do it anyway.
Yeah.
But who's going to go to this event somewhere in Vegas and not call it Evo?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Right?
It's gonna
if it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck,
yep.
It's Evo.
Hey, we're going to call the cotton swabs Q-tips. We're going to do it.
Right?
Your
parents are still going to call every gaming system Nintendo.
Yep.
At least in our generation, now. Anyway.
Yes.
It's PlayStation now. It's shifted. It's PlayStation. It's an Xbox. Yeah, right.
Well, there's a term for that. It's I don't think brand association or brand homogenization, something like that.
Something was on.
But there is that. There's also the idea that the people who didn't follow Evo don't actually care that it's called Evo. They're just tuning in because like a big fighting game tournament is happening.
Yeah.
And it's like all the pomp and circumstance around it kind of attracts it. So maybe that alone is enough to carry a rebranded name.
Yeah. I would also argue, I think a big part of what makes Evo what it is, at the heart of it, at the end of the day, is the people who go to it every year.
Yeah.
The people who commentate, the people who play. Like,
it's how it's presented. It's the presentation.
Yeah. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I remember when this happened, and like I was just kind of like, this hurt, man. Because I have a lot of good memories of Evo. I have for years, and I fucking went last year.
Yeah.
And I had one of the best times of my life.
Yeah, it's a shame I didn't get to go to the last Evo like I planned.
Yeah, right. And it's
now Chris got to go to the last Evo.
Yeah, he did.
Exactly.
Yeah. Go figure. The year I decide to go, all this shit happens.
Of course.
Hey, whatever. There's always next time. If there is a next time.
I mean,
who knows what's gonna happen? I don't fucking know.
Or if it becomes one of those things that if the community decides that Evo isn't the be all end all anymore, and it's something like, I don't know, Combo Breaker or CEO,
the guys who run Combo Breaker and CEO don't want that.
I know they don't want that, and they've said it as much.
They don't want it to get as big. There's also the fact that, Evo already has the corporate structure to make something like that happen.
Yeah.
The people who run it anyway. So if anything, rebranding. Rebranding is what's going to happen. It's not going to fall on the shoulders of some other tournament organizer.
And it's not something that's going to be fixed in a year either. Like, I'm not saying it won't. Like, I'm not saying no, but in terms of like
getting new familiarity.
Yeah, man. Like it's a growing pain sort of deal.
Do you remember the first year there was an Evo? Because I do. I don't remember what year it was, but I remember the first time I heard about Evolution Championship Series.
Yeah, it was in was 2004.
Was it 2004? I remember it being like 2000.
No, well, no, because what was it, 99 or 98 was Battle by the Bay.
Mhm.
Then it was B4, and then it was B5. So maybe
Right.
EVO was 2001, 2002.
It definitely feels like around that time. Because I
I
remember
believe the first Evo was called Evo 2K, wasn't it?
Oh, that's right.
No,
because B5 was in 2000. I think it was 2001.
Which year it was is irrelevant.
Yeah.
It was definitely after B5 because they stopped that branding.
They stopped it. Yeah, they stopped that
and
branding.
then they stopped calling it Evolution. It was a lot smaller back then.
Yeah.
It was a very big deal because Evolution seemed like a huge upgrade to what the B series Battle by the Bay was.
Yeah, because it wasn't just a bunch of dudes in an arcade anymore.
Right. It was a big event now.
Yeah.
So that was the first iteration of that rebranding. Like this big tournament has been rebranded before. Granted, that was 20 years ago, and it was upgraded to something completely different. Yeah. This is going to have to be lateral movement, but it's going to have to seem like an upgrade.
Yes, they have to sell it as such.
Yeah. So this rebranding is entirely possible. They have a while to think about it. I'm sure they're already discussing it.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever they do, pretty sure it's going to be just fine. Whatever happens. If next year there's going to be a tournament scene happening, we'll see it, whatever it is. Yeah. Same time, probably the same place, hopefully the same pomp and circumstance, and probably even more support than there was for what is historically happening. I would love to see that. I would love to see it elevated. Yeah. Whatever comes next, I want to see elevated.
Yeah, you don't
hope they can make that
happen. You don't want it to feel like it's a downgrade.
No, definitely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how it is when the annual series goes on to the next gen system.
Yeah,
usually is a downgrade.
Yeah, it's a little rough at first.
Yeah. They'll have time to grow into it. Right. It's not like the cannons have been there from the beginning.
Yeah,
this might be a good time to bring like Seth Killian back on board or something. Just to make sure that everything is as good as it was back in the day, because those four. Seth Killian, the Cannons, and Mr. Wizard, they were the ones that started B3 and B4 and all that stuff. So they've been there since the very beginning. The entire crew of them, they've been there. They've been doing it for over 20 years. Yeah. So they have the experience. Seth Killian was involved in Evo personally for a while too. He left, I believe, to start working on his own games.
Yeah, well, I think
he took a job at Capcom and he left.
I think he got his job at Capcom, and then after he left Capcom,
he went to Riot for. I think he might actually be still. I'm not really sure where he is. I know he was. I don't know if he's.
Yeah, he was because he made Rising Thunder.
Oh, that's right. That wasn't Riot. It was Riot about Rising Thunder, and Seth was working on that.
Bingo.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
But even though he wasn't actually a part of the management of it, he still was around and he would do commentary and stuff. So he was usually the voice of the Street Fighter.
Still very much involved. So very much. It was clear he loved what he was doing when he was there. It was clear, totally clear. Yeah.
So
it was liked and he was respected, and he should be back.
Maybe they bring him back and they just say, okay, well, it's us three.
Yep.
And let's get this done.
Yeah. Press the John Cena button. Everybody loves John Cena. It's a wholesome figure. Bring him back.
Yep. Bring him back.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's been gone long enough that we actually miss him. Most importantly.
We were hard-pressed not to miss him right now.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
2002 was the first one.
Okay. That seems right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that was definitely around that time. It was early 2000s, pre-2005, I'm sure of that.
You're going to laugh. The reason I remember that so specifically.
And the song?
Yep, Sandstorm.
Yeah, not Sandstorm. It was actually a song called Evolution.
The Evo song didn't show up till a couple years later.
No, I remember the
Evolution song was actually debuted the year I went to Evo.
Yeah, that debuted in 2011, bro.
Because I remember them playing that song when Golf Lane closed for that Memorial year when all the arcades closed.
Well, the reason I remember is because I remember the B5 trailer had fucking Sandstorm in it because everything had Sandstorm in it.
That's right, yep. It's funny how things just never change.
Everything still has Sandstorm in it. I mean, the song is great.
There's actually a Vice did like a 15-minute documentary about that song, which you can YouTube, and I highly recommend it. It makes me happy. That dude, Darude's still doing shit, man, and he's very thankful for that song and what's happening.
I'm sure.
Well, why wouldn't he be?
Yeah,
no, it's nice because even when people are making fun of it, he's like, "Yeah, I don't give a shit."
Right? Yeah.
My song is still here.
I mean, look. I mean, even Sir Mix-a-Lot got tired of "Baby Got Back."
Yeah,
and then he later embraced it again because
he's getting
this
paid.
is what makes the money.
Yep.
Everyone, nobody wants to hear "Put 'Em on the Glass." They want to hear "Baby Got Back."
I want to hear "Baby Got Back."
Yeah,
that's it.
So I'm hoping that there's honestly another thing I really kind of want is like, and this is where things get weird in terms of like the community guidelines, like do you make what do you change to prevent shit like this from happening in the future?
Well, that's an entirely different question, and that is I don't think you really change anything because there's already laws in place that doesn't happen.
I know. That's kind of my point.
You can't enable that infrastructure. This is already there.
Well, the issue is you can't really do anything to prevent this from happening in the future because most of these things already happened in the past, and they're just coming to light now.
Right. The only thing that could change is the people. The people who we need to change that at a societal level. So they need like the education and the possibly the mental help that they need
and calling people out when they see some bad shit going down.
Sure,
that has to happen too.
Mm-hmm.
That has to happen. That has to be a part of it.
You can't just let them run free because you're cool with them. Because like this was going down at the big arcade scenes in Cali, so like
it's
according to several sources.
Yeah. It's one of those things that like it has to be a thing where it's like, Joe, honestly, when you say that, it's like if Dre or I did something horrible and you didn't call us out on it, like, I don't know, man, maybe you should.
I wouldn't. I'm straight up. Like, I love you guys too much. Like, I don't know. I would ask you to, be responsible for it.
Yes.
In private. Private.
Joe, I'm not talking about hanging us on Twitter here. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like your friend is clearly doing shit that you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
That you're like, or that is wrong.
I would certainly address it with said friend at the very least. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, I know enough to know that I wouldn't just go straight to like, hey, my best friend is messing up and you need to do something.
No. That's fine. Like I'm not. That's maybe I didn't illustrate that before when I said that when I was like laying that kind of thing out.
Yeah.
I should have. That's on me.
It's really not a situation I can really predict what I do until I was in that situation.
Because I'll be honest, man. Like I have regrets about not telling people, certain friends of mine who I'm no longer friends with, thankfully. But like, I watched them be shitty for a long time, and I knew they were being shitty. Mm-hmm. And I didn't properly call them out enough.
Okay, but I would say something to them like, look, I know. Like I would say if I found out one of you guys did something terrible, I would talk to you about it. Yeah, I would. I'd be like, look, I'm not comfortable with what you did. Yeah. And it's affecting our relationship.
Yeah, that's
at the very worst, I think I would disassociate from that person, but I don't think it would be my place to tell people about it. That's my stance on it. And if I'm wrong, then I don't know what the right way to do it is.
I don't know, man. I'm not. Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, it's difficult because obviously if you're friends with the people, then you have some sort of care about them. But you also have to realize that if you don't say anything, you enable them to continue doing bad behavior.
And it's possible you can be associated with it as well. There's a danger. There's a danger to it and a risk to it.
There is.
So I would hope I would never put in a position, and I don't think either of you would ever do that. And that's what I believe. But this is going way too hypothetical for even me to be really comfortable.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's because we're speaking super hypothetically here.
Yeah, but this is what's
happening in that community.
This is what's happening to the Evo management because I mean, like, there's got to be somebody involved that knew, because they were all hanging out at the same arcade,
Yeah,
and
and
they all
that's-
knew him from
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah.
And it's apparently something that's been happening for a while.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that just happened once years and years ago. It's something
Yeah,
that
no.
continuously happened over the years.
Exactly. Like, and that's a problem. You
Yeah,
know? And
at some point, you may be liable for allowing it to continue.
yeah, you do. I think you are.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. You are. At the end of the day,
I guess it's because at some point, if you just let it keep happening, then you're just kind of
You're just as guilty.
You're just as
Really.
guilty in a
quietly
way.
condoning it. Quietly.
Yeah, and you're quietly your silence is condoning that sort of shit,
Yeah.
and that's not okay. That's
Mhm.
never okay. You know, and this isn't one of those things where I'm taking a fucking moral high ground or saying that like I'm a perfect human, man, because I have made more fuck ups in my life than I could possibly count.
But he was without sin.
Yeah, like no one is without sin, right? But a big part of that is doing everything in your fucking power to address things that happened, right? And in a situation like this, I don't know what that means, obviously.
Because like it's Ray said,
I couldn't even imagine, right?
Right.
It's just a matter of that's just like that's where the real damage comes in.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it's just fucking sucks, man. It just fucking sucks. The whole
I
fucking
think
situation.
I would probably need to talk to some legal expert. Say, listen, somebody I know is doing something illegal.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to go about it.
Yeah.
What are my options?
Yeah.
It's probably the most responsible thing you can do is speak to a licensed legal expert about what your options to do in that situation are.
That is sadly, unless you know a lawyer, that is an incredibly
And
difficult
it's
thing
going
to
to
do.
be an expensive route.
That's the problem, and not everybody has that option.
Exactly.
Especially if you're part of the fighting game community, you know, poverty
You
game.
definitely don't have that option.
No.
Grassroots poverty.
Yeah, grassroots poverty, baby.
Playing melty blood in bathroom stalls.
That's right. Yeah. Christ. So yeah, I you know.
Listen, I couldn't begin to imagine how to properly handle that. There's
Yeah.
no way what I say about this should be taken as gospel.
No, of course not.
Absolutely not.
And I think it's
And
important.
that's not anything that any of us should be taking as gospel, because none of us have really been in this situation where it's just like,
and I really hope none of us ever
we
are.
need to like fix that, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like there's, you know, like it's one of those things.
It's like I said. You talk to the person who did it. You say, "You're responsible for this. Please don't make me responsible for this."
Yeah, like
and
deal with your shit.
I just have to hope that person has just as much respect for you as you have for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a two-way street. And if they don't, they're probably not your friend to begin with.
Yeah. You know, it's tough to.
But it's hard to just go up to somebody and say, "Hey, I need you to ruin your life so you don't ruin mine."
Yeah.
Listen. their life is already ruined. It just hasn't caught up to them.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you're like, this is gonna come out at some point. Man.
I'm oversimplifying, but you know what I mean.
No, but Joe, I entirely get it, and you're right.
Listen, I'm not a biblical person, right? But I have spent a lot of time studying the Bible because of how I was brought up, and it's just a very popular thing in the Bible is to note that nothing done in darkness stays in the darkness. Comes to light at some point.
At some point.
And there is never any truer shit than that. Like, very few people will go down with all of their secrets intact. So, like, keep yourselves clean.
Yep.
Keep yourselves clean.
Skeletons are coming. They're there. People are going to dig
jumping
them
out of the closets left and right now.
Yeah, people are going to find out about it. Get ahead of it. Get ahead of it.
Yep.
Get ahead of it.
Yeah,
although I guess we'll never know about Macho Man and Stephanie McMahon. Because that was something too.
I don't think so.
I hope not. It's easy to put that mental math together, but oh man.
I mean, say nothing of the fact that Stephanie McMahon is an anagram for the Macho Man penis.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but that is true.
Oh, that's good.
So
Jesus
sorry.
Christ.
Right. So Evolution is hopefully.
And he
going
played for
to-
the Cincinnati Reds. Did you know that?
Yes, I
Randy
knew that.
Papa was on the Reds. He was a
Did.
baseball
He was
player.
He was a
very
very good
good
one.
player.
But he looks like a crazy person. So
He probably it's highly likely nothing happened, and you could remember the Macho Man as fondly as you did.
Absolutely. I plan on it. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
He's dropping an elbow to save us all. It's fine.
Yeah, dropping them bows.
Back in 2011, yeah, he did
That's
that.
right.
He saved us all.
He saved us all.
He
Never
elbow
forget. Never
dropped the
forget.
apocalypse.
Christ.
All right, so just to quickly hit it, Evolution was originally planned to have 9 main events, one of them being a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 revival.
What a
Then
year for that to be canceled, huh?
Then COVID came in and wrecked it, and then they shifted to Them's Fighting Herds, Skullgirls, Killer Instinct, and MK11, which wasn't even one of the featured games to begin with.
Nope.
For Evo Online. So this was a total rebrand, and they realized that most of these games that they were promoting had garbage netcode, and they needed to do something about it. So they said, here are games with decent netcode.
And Mortal Kombat.
And Mortal Kombat, because I guess
Mortal Kombat has good netcode.
Okay, sure.
Sometimes it
does.
Okay, whatever.
Hey, man, talk all the shit you want about the game. They fixed something that is necessary. The game works.
Sure.
So now it's nothing, and honestly, I did not think that Evo Online was a good idea outside of the fact that it was going to blow up these companies' bad netcodes. And then
you know what?
Evo was we can't have that happen.
The ball got rolling on that anyway.
Yeah. Dude,
so
Fighting EX Layer is getting its netcode fixed.
Yes, Fighting EX Layer is in rollback beta now.
Right now.
As we speak.
That's great, but that doesn't really mean anything because who plays that game?
Well, it's like I said, the ball got rolling.
Okay.
You know, this is looking good for things like KOF 15.
Yeah.
And whatever is coming next for Tekken. You know, the word is already out. And people are starting to take notice. Developers are starting to take notice. Publishers are taking notice. Fix your netcode. We're not happy with the netcode. They're finally listening. Even if these events are canceled, the whole
at least
thing
it did something.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
It
did something for the online community, which honestly is more important right now than ever.
Yes, it is.
If you want to play fighting games, it's the only way you're going to play. It's online. You know, it's gonna take a while for us to get back into arcades. Say nothing else of what's been happening in arcade spaces, you know, in public spaces like that. Say nothing else of that.
Yeah.
So the online community is all we got until we can go back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe a while.
Maybe a while.
Super important.
So
more important than it's ever been.
So whatever new games are gonna come out, are people are gonna listen to what's required for good online. Otherwise, your game's not getting played. Period.
Yep. Fix your netcode.
That's right.
Fucking netcode.
Yep. Fix your netcode. Fix your fix your organizations.
Set up set up that match with Chris G and the Ghost of Marvel.
Rewind the clock.
Rewind the clock.
That guy. That was some random stuff.
Dude. I love that Cap has held on to that so hard as like the catalyst moment where everything went wrong.
Yep. So I don't know. This is apparently the story behind that guy. He was apparently in the tournament and got disqualified for his controller because they weren't allowed to use his controller. I guess he felt like he got ripped off, and he just decided to charge the stage and challenge the winner after he got DQ'd from the tournament.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's what crazy. I heard anyway. I have no way to back this up. I don't think anyone really does.
Nobody wants to talk about it.
Right. Everybody wants to talk about it.
No, our Kappa wants to talk about it. Nobody else wants to talk about it.
If they knew about it, they want to talk about it. Who is that guy? The Ghost of Marvel.
Ghost of Marvel 2.
That's so random.
That was so funny. That was so funny.
I know. I love how it turned into this piece of FGC mythology.
Oh my god.
Some random dude charging the stage got its own mythos. I love it.
So
That's the
funny.
stuff I miss.
Yeah,
That's the stuff I like right there. That shit.
the silly shit.
You know? The silly shit. Fucking little Majin smiling his charming smile.
Look, as long as you got players of personality who are
Right.
able to showcase their personality.
Die Minion sneaking on the stage out of nowhere. Moments like that.
Look, Yipes.
Marlon Pie doing a combo while smiling at his opponent.
That's the best. Yeah, look, when you get dude, Yipes still manages to be amazing, even with his cleaned up language.
Yep.
Like, I'm not worried. Seriously.
Yipes absolutely hating F-Champ. During his match against Kane Blue River.
That was the best.
Rooting for him to lose.
That was the best.
Great stuff.
Yeah, that was great. Great shit.
Yeah, it's definitely playing the face announcer.
That stuff. That will.
I'm watching him laugh, rocking back and forth in his chair. This is justice.
Yep, that won't happen. I'm telling you. Like, I think
we'll get back to that. We will get back to that.
We will.
Of course.
We will get back to that.
Because the fighting game community is bigger than Evo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Evo is not bigger than the community.
Yeah,
because Evo would not exist if it weren't for the people playing. So.
Exactly, and that was one of the last point I wanted to touch on was that, like, no matter what, at the end of the day, the community is the most important thing.
But the people who are playing need to be overall good people.
Yeah,
even if they screaming thuggery at you.
Yeah,
they need to be good people.
Yeah.
Look, we're past the age of getting into fights over the arcade, right?
Yeah,
so
you can't swing at someone because they threw you. Like, that shit can't be happening.
Right? Noel Brown, right? Let's not do that.
Yeah.
So if if there's a little salty talk going on, that's fine.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Fighting games. Salt's gonna happen.
That. Like, if that happens, that's fine. If you want to get mad and smash a stick, that's fine too. Don't smash anybody's face.
Just don't hurt anybody. That's
hey,
all.
Man.
You want to throw it on the floor?
Stanford threw it on the ground, bro.
Yeah, I think he damaged the floor. I think he caused property damage with that.
That's fine. He knows Henry. It'll be okay. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure Henry was like, "Give me some of that money."
Henry's like, "Yo," because Henry don't play around. He would have charged him for that. Like, oh, you owe me money for that.
Suave, the salt maker.
That was the best.
There's so many moments.
Give him the Mentos thumbs up.
So many moments like that you can just find. You know that fighting games are resilient, right?
Yeah, they are.
The community existed on like 1.5 games.
Remember when the genre was dead?
Survived on 1.5 games for 10 years.
That's right. It's facts.
So
we'll be all right.
If they could, if they could survive through the dark ages of only playing Marvel 2 and learning about Street Fighter 3 like 5 years after they should have, they can survive now.
It'll be okay. Yeah. It'll all be all right.
Mm-hmm. Well, they won't go away forever.
No, they won't.
You know what? We may be going back to the dark ages for a little bit, but you know what came after the dark ages?
Street Fighter 4.
Pollution.
After.
No, that is what happened after.
Okay. Well, at some point there was a renaissance.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
It'll be okay.
At some point there was a renaissance. Rome has fallen.
Mm-hmm.
Long live Rome.
But how it's fallen.
Right.
It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I've never understood that saying. Like, the king is dead, long live the king. Like, no, he's dead. He's not living any longer.
No living.
What do you do?
The old king is dead, long live the new king.
Yes, but they need to explain that. Be more explicit.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Brevity is the soul of wit. Let's not.
Fine.
Our old king is deceased. Let our new king live for a long, long time. Doesn't roll
so much better. Good crier. That's what you get criers for. Get Dandelion to sing it. I'm sure he'll make it entertaining.
He'll crush it.
By the way, that was also something that people were enjoying in early 2020.
Yeah, remember that? Remember when like The Witcher was like the best thing going on? Yeah. Dude, there's a meme where it's like
toss
talking
a
about
coin
that.
into third strike.
Yeah, and then it's
combo of 30. Combo of 30.
Dude, you're doing a 30-hit combo in third strike. You are a maniac.
Yeah. Or you're playing as
Chun-Li. And you dissed someone.
Yes.
Or Yun. Yun can do 30-hit combos.
Yeah, Yun can do 30 hits.
Because you know.
Ganijin. Busted ass Ganijin.
All right, well, we managed to at least
Put a positive spin on
not
it.
make it as
Yeah,
as
it was not dour.
sour as
Yeah.
it should have been. But like
Yeah.
clearly, it's big news, and there's no way we could avoid talking about it.
Yeah, no, we had to.
Let it serve as fertilizer for whatever grows out of it.
That's right.
That's right.
Good old
Because
ECS.
this shit's been happened has been nothing but a big pile of shit.
Yep, shit on the floor. It's all good.
That's the best metaphor I got for it.
That's fine.
Okay,
It works
good.
out.
Do you have a good simile?
Similes are tougher, especially off the top of your head.
It's not one that's going to leave a positive spin on it, because it's like wrestling and Benoit. You happy? I couldn't leave you hanging, could I? I had to say it. I had to say it. And there it was.
There it is. No.
You're welcome.
Not good either.
Not good either. I told you, but I couldn't not say it. I already set myself up to fail.
All right.
This is your fault. You blame
Thanks.
you.
Yep.
Well, I try. So with brevity being the soul of wit, let's go.
Let's go. We're done.
Let's get out of here.
Okay.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, other stuff. SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify.
Send us an
all that other
email.
stuff. Email us. We'll read it like we
We'll
read
read it.
Josh's
We read
email.
Josh's.
Yep.
Even though he was bashing us for our perfectly scientific list.
So scientific.
Perfectly scientific. So, yeah. 4205, cast off.